The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is risk-free, same-game parlay, Thursday night football, Thursday, and this show begins right now. Yeah! It's October 21st, and today's the day that we will talk about for years and years, because today will be the first day that against all the odds, we will hit a risk-free same-game parlay against FanDuel on FanDuel Sportsbook as a team of thousands and thousands, and we're going to rake in millions and millions. People are going to talk about this forever. We're going to talk about this next week as the same-game parlay gets just as hot as the Super Boost, which is hit 3 in a row. And now tonight's Thursday night football game is not an easy one to predict on what the fuck's going to happen because, to be honest, we don't know who the fuck's going to play. Mm-hmm. Broncos getting 1 point going into Cleveland. It was 3.5. It was 2.5. It was 2. Now it's 1. Baker Mayfield not starting, but he's not going on IR. He's going to get surgery after the season. He's going to have to battle the pain threshold of having a torn labrum in his arm. So Case Keenum starting. I don't know what that means. I don't know if Baker's going to feel better next week with a torn labrum. I don't think it just gets better. Like, that's something that is...
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like...
Yeah, it's torn.
Painful.
It's very painful. It is going to be very painful. This isn't just going to like, hey, you need to put some ice on it. It's going to grow back together. It's going to hurt tonight. It's going to hurt next week. So what does that mean? Maybe just with the short week, they're letting Baker get over what happened to him on Sunday when that thing got separated again. Hopefully he's healthy in the long run. Everybody knows he wants to play. But tonight, we got to bank on Case Keenum. What do we know with Case Keenum? We know that he has been great before. We know that Case Keenum... with Kevin Stefanski, who's now the head coach and play caller for the Cleveland Browns, when they were together at Minnesota, he did some great things, earned a contract actually somewhere else. So maybe tonight with Jarvis Landry probably coming off of IR.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And if he's probably coming off IR, expect him to play tonight. So everybody's thinking he should, he might, who knows? The mixed reports are coming out about Jarvis coming out of IR and playing tonight with Case Keenum. It's a Thursday night. Would you want to bring him back in a short week as opposed to getting another 10 days coming off IR? Who knows? Odell Beckham Jr., maybe he's playing. He hasn't practiced, I guess. So it is very difficult to predict what the fuck's going to happen tonight, but we did it.
Hell yeah.
The council in this office that included at Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor, the Toxic Table, and more importantly, the council that included a man who is on a heater when it comes to same-game parlays, host of Hammer, Dahn, the COVID cowboy, at Tone Diggs. Tone, you might have threaded the needle tonight, pal. Well, there was a lot of give and take. There was a lot of conversation on what we need to bet on, what we don't need to bet on. I think our same-game parlay tonight is a guarantee.
Hell yeah.
At Tone Diggs, your thoughts, pal? You were deep in the sports book trying to find the bets and the props that we could add into the same game parlay to get it above the agreed to odds that it had to be and below the agreed to odds that it had to be, a certain amount of bets. This is what we in FanDuel have decided upon with this risk-free same game parlay that has seen 44,000 on one of them.
Damn.
Last week, 39,800, 38,800. Tonight, we don't know much about the game, but we do know some bets, and Tone was digging in there deep for us. Tone, your thoughts on tonight's game and inevitably the same game parlay when it officially gets dropped onto FanDuel Sports.
Tonight's game was the hardest same game parlay of all time to predict. We had around 600 possible variations of the same game parlay that we were going to do. I mean,
a lot of conversation.
We looked hard. We looked at how each defense and offenses were against running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, how they were against the run game, the pass game, how these quarterbacks fare on the road, at home, in weather, We looked at everything, and we came up with what we thought was the best opportunity to win the same game parlay tonight and potentially bankrupt FanDuel. And I think we did a good job.
Now, to be clear, $1 billion was made in New Jersey in 1 month or was gambled in 1 month in New Jersey. Okay, so we're not going to bankrupt FanDuel tonight. But we're going. Guess what we're doing? Tonight, finally, we break ground.
That's right.
Oh,
Okay, tonight we finally break ground on our mission to do what you just said to FanDuel. Tonight it is the ribbon cutting ceremony for the risk-free same game parlay. It hit last week.
Yep.
It hit.
Mm-hmm. It did.
And
then Tom said, beep, 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 boop.
Yeah. What's that guy's deal?
Well, he's not a mathematist because the number we needed that he decided to drop the old subtraction in front of -1, gets us underneath there. That was supposed to be a celebration. Everybody from here to Ontario, California was going to be celebrating in all the side of the East Coast, obviously. I forgot,
right.
Yeah, because this just covers all. People on that side too.
Statue of Liberty.
We were looking for everybody to celebrate.
Right.
Tonight's the night. This Broncos-Browns game, to be honest, no, we don't have a fucking idea of what's going to happen. But joining us now is a man who might know.
What?
A guy who's actually boots on the ground in the state in which the game will be taking place.
Oh, wow.
A college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, a Ryder Cup champion, joining us earlier than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk.
What's up, guys?
Sup, dude?
Oh, I saw you post this. I looked at that picture. I was like, why does he have this? And I saw the hands like 25 seconds later.
Yeah.
After I first saw it.
Yeah, well, I was trying to figure out. Whether or not I draw the attention to the hands with the post, or I just kind of let it sit there and let everybody see it. Those are just that's just one slide in, right, of your hands?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whose geriatric hands did you find for that? Or who made that, I should say?
Things are getting sent to our office now. And there's been a couple things that have been sent to our office that made me actually tell everybody, hey, we got to change the way we speak around here because some of the shit that's showing up should not be showing up at the office, okay? We do not need AJ
Like dildos or what?
Well,
it was towards you mostly.
You're warm for sure.
It was slanderous against you mostly. So this.
That's okay.
No, it's not. All right. No, it's not. I don't appreciate. This was like one of 6 things that showed up, and it was very disparaging towards you.
the most PG of all.
So. I just want to let you know it's a nice gift. People seem to love you and understand that you have, very fucked up fingers. And that is just kind of how it's got to go. Tonight, AJ, Broncos, Browns, we're over here, we're literally talking for the last couple hours about how this thing's going to go. The line moved while we're in the middle of this conversation. This Thursday night football game, I don't think any of us have a clue what the hell's going to happen, unless you do. Do you understand and think got a good handle on what's going to happen tonight?
I mean, do you think even the coaches have any idea what's going to happen tonight? We don't know who's in, who's out yet. We don't know what Case Keenum will be like. OBJ, do we have any kind of idea on what OBJ's status is?
No, he might play. And then look at this tweet regarding Jarvis Landry about tonight's game. James Palmer TV is reporting. For the Browns wide receiver, Jarvis Landry should probably be activated off IR today per sources. If that officially happens, expect him to play. For OBJ, he has a significant shoulder injury. I'm told it's an uphill battle to go tonight, but don't rule him out completely just yet. What was that? What was that? That was a lot of excitement, then a downer, then a little excitement at the end there. James Palmer took me on a fucking ride in 280 characters right there, AJ Hawk.
Yeah, James Palmer's he's a poet. I mean, it's basically like saying, hey, the Broncos might win tonight, but hey, they could also lose.
I think Roger Goodell might have crafted that tweet.
Mm-hmm. You think?
Yeah.
Just to keep it I don't know.
It was beautifully.
Do people care about this?
No, but it was beautifully stated, but it said nothing, and that's what Roger Goodell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a high-ranking politician, Roger Goodell, not that stooge from the MLB. What's his name?
Bob Manfred.
Not Bob Manfred. This is an elite speaker tweet here. Said a lot, but at the end of the day. Had a couple probablys in there, expected tos, kind of a way to get it. Maybe, who knows? We'll see how it goes. So everything is up in literal question. Like, is Jarvis going to play? We don't know. Chubb, Hunt, they're both out.
Yep,
Is OBJ going to play? We don't know. Is Case Keenum going to play? Yes, we've been told. But now we're also being told that Baker Mayfield not getting surgery till after the season. So what's the pain difference of playing on a Thursday versus next Sunday? It's not like that thing's going to heal. I guess the inflammation's going to go down, but that thing's going to go up immediately upon getting one hit in the first play of any game. I don't really understand anything happening in Cleveland right now, AJ.
I mean, it does seem like they're at a weird spot in their season where things could go one way or the other. It doesn't look like they have great chance to improve. I mean, when your starting quarterback has a torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder, yeah, I guess it's just how much pain he can tolerate and how he can manage that throughout the rest of the season. Yeah, you're right. It's not going to heal, but maybe the swelling, a little of it goes down and he feels 20% better next game.
Yeah, well, that swelling is going to go right back up immediately upon one, which is inevitable, right? Like that's
and he moves around the pocket. You know, he likes to buy time. Like he's going to have to. I'm sure he's already been adjusting how he plays, but now he's really going to have to worry about getting hit.
And there's no rain tonight in Cleveland. There was predicted rain, and then now allegedly there's no rain coming off the lake.
There's rain till about 6:30, and then it clears up, and it's just going to be a little windy, like 18 miles an hour.
Always breezy in Cleveland coming off that lake, but with the wind always comes questionable weather patterns as well, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, if it's windy, that means it could rain. It's predicted not. We don't know what the meteorologist's track record is over there in Cleveland. I would assume it's not easy with
We have a big weather show now. Like
No,
we really
Dahn,
like to
hey,
update the
this
weather.
is, you have no idea, AJ. The council this morning trying to figure out this same game parlay. We got because you open your weather app on your phone and you just see the little squiggly lines next to the city you're in and the time. That means, hey, it's going to be windy as shit.
Yep.
Okay, it is going to be wildly windy. With the wind, we don't know what's going to come. Maybe a little bit of a mist, a rain, maybe. But they're saying rain stopping at 6:30. Look for the ball to potentially be able to fly out of Case Keenum's hand. Look for maybe Teddy Bridgewater to be able to connect with Cortland and Tim Patrick.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple
players.
ball players over there that have averaged a lot of yards these last couple weeks. And, how's Melvin going to do in the backfield? Von Miller says he's going to kill somebody. All right. He said, I don't know who's playing tackle. Nobody does. There's another thing. We just talked about the weapons and everything like that. Offensive line for the Cleveland, nobody knows who's playing either. I mean, it is massive question marks everywhere in the land or whatever. But Case Keenum said, I tried to text Von Miller to ask him what was that about. He's going to kill somebody. He must change his number. Must change his number, he said. Case Keenum on Von Miller's kill the tackle comment. I think he changed his number. I tried to text him. Tonight, a lot of storylines potentially if both these teams were humming, but now it's just big question marks, AJ.
When do they turn in the final report of who is up and who is down? Is that 90 minutes before or 2 hours?
I was about to say, I think it is an hour and a half. I think it's an actual time. Connor, your thoughts on tonight?
Well, Jimmy Palmer did craft that tweet, wonderfully, but he does say in there, Pat, do not rule him out completely. So that means you can rule him out about 75%. So I personally believe Jarvis will go, Odell will sit down, and then we'll see what happens with, old Dearness Johnson and Demetric Felton out of the backfield for the Brownies.
Hell in a Cell is starting right now. Oh, yeah. Hell in a Cell is starting right now in Riyadh.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, right now. It's
Just lowered the cage.
yeah, they're lowered the cage. The lights are going. Seth looks
Holy
pissed.
shit.
Seth Rollins is furious. He's in a cage in Saudi Arabia staring down a man who called him Edge Light just a couple weeks ago. That's going on right now. Yeah.
How long are they there?
The game's going to be like.
We got SmackDown tomorrow night. So I'm not sure, man. I have no idea.
Wait, so some of them are coming back for SmackDown?
Some. What are you talking
all of
about?
them?
Yeah,
Basically.
new rosters, dude. New rosters on SmackDown from the draft a couple weeks ago. Everybody's going to be there.
Wake up,
The
dude.
turnaround. Wow.
Believe me, I can't wait to see Cole tomorrow night.
Oh, man.
How
Who
you doing,
knows?
dude? How fucking low energy, dude? Yeah. Come on, bro. Wakey, bro. Start speaking a little magic out there. It should be a pretty good run today.
Is there a possibility, they might be a few guys short? Who knows how the travel goes? And maybe, no. You maybe have to get back in the ring at some point.
Oh, don't you give me that.
I'm just saying, it might happen.
No, the body isn't ready. I'm used to talking. I thought maybe they were going to call in maybe AJ Hawk to come commentate.
Oh, well, it's in Kansas, correct?
Wichita. Look,
Wichita?
Go stay at Jordy's house.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Or
stay at Jordy's house.
bring Jordy into the ring, perhaps.
with
athlete.
his softball bat?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe he'll ride one of his cows in.
See, that's what we're doing tonight. We're riding our cash cow. That's that guy. We're riding cash cow right into
Boom.
Cash Town on this same game parlay night.
Milk that car.
Milk that cow. Milk that cow. Milk that cow.
Diggs loves
Cash
being milked.
cow. Huh?
Yeah. Diggs loves being milked. He told me that years ago.
Well, I'm not 100% sure if that's the case. That's a conversation for you two to be had. But it does seem like there's a lot of pressure on Tone today because of how hot his same game parlays have been in the NBA for him to help us out. But that's really Everybody's leading off with basketball. And by the way, 25th time, just got this stat from Tony Stats right before we went live. 25th time in the history of existence that all major sports have some sort of game today. So MLB's playing playoff baseball. That's so much fun. Hey,
oh, man.
Saw Justin Turner pull his hammy last night. 36-year-old on his way to first base. Saw it live. T's and P's of the hammy, pal. Mm-hmm. Honestly. Hey, good baseball being played around here. Red Sox got just dog walked.
Oh, yeah. Don't let us win Friday, though. Don't you?
Was that in Houston or Boston? I saw the score.
That was in Boston. They got to go back to Houston and win that
So
thing.
they can't claim cheating at home for the Astros anymore, right?
Well, I mean, you still can. It looked like they greased the balls a little bit so they could see what type of pitch was coming. But
every single one of the balls, because don't they change out those balls like every single pitch?
Yeah, well, so what?
400.
Well, what the catcher does is he throws a little dirt on it. You can see it a little easier when it's spinning one way or the other, and all of a sudden they're hitting home runs. I don't know. That's just what they're saying.
Their pitcher leaking like a faucet when it's 55 degrees out.
Bubba Gumpino lost a lot of money on, I believe, on the Red Sox and a lot of joy out of his life whenever they got their asses beat by Houston. But baseball's happening again. Hockey's happening again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, shout out to hockey.
Shout out
to That's Hockey Talk last night. It was a lot of fun with old Rupper, Gumpy, and Nick telling stories. Learned that Chara, who's the big stud that used to be on the Bruins, he's a legend for the Islanders, though.
Whoa.
And I believe he's on the Cap. No.
He's on the Islanders now.
He was on the Capitals last year.
Not
He's a
an
big, tall,
Islander.
6'9" guy. I guess he would actually, in hockey, I learned this on That's Hockey Talk last night from Rupper, who is maybe one of my new favorite people.
Oh, yeah.
Weapon.
This guy's a fucking maniac.
He's a beaut.
He is.
He's a
beaut. Absolute beaut. He said that Chara would bend over like before the face-off because Rupp was also a bit of a grunt out there. You know, like, hey, a goon, he's going to go get in the fight. And Chara would ask him, will you do me the honor of fighting me or something like that? And Rupp's like, nah, we got to do it third period, man. Like he's negotiating, he said, with Chara. They end up going up 3-0, and Chara is standing at the other end, and I guess he's like, Rupper, like, we got to do this. So Rupp had to go walk into a fight with a guy who's never lost, basically, who's 6'9", and Rupp was 6'5", I guess. I guess he is 6.
Big
He might be. I don't know.
He might be smaller by now.
I'm not 100% sure. But normally when he would fight, he was bigger than everybody. He fights a guy who's 6'9". He throws a right, hits him in the fucking elbow. So that's how far is that away from the head? You got no shot there. And then Chara thanked him afterwards. And then Chara got a standing O, kind of skated off. What a legend Chara and Rupp is, obviously. Hockey's happening, AJ.
Hell yeah.
Hockey's
Yes, I've seen a little bit of hockey actually live. Now, Chara, I wasn't aware of. He's on the Islanders now. Obviously, I know who he is. I've watched him play. Such an intimidating figure. Is Rupper really 6'5"?
Yeah, well, that's how he described it in the story. I don't know if that's with skates or not.
6'7" with skates.
Yeah,
6'8".
Chara is 6'11" with skates, I believe.
You're talking about titans clashing on the ice.
Yeah.
And one of them's just like, will you do me the honor of fighting me?
Please.
Please. I have to. I got to see here.
That's way more scary than a guy that is like talking trash and he's yelling and snorting and he's grunting at you. Like that's much scarier what Chara's doing.
So hockey's happening. Shout out to That's Hockey Talk, by the way. You guys are doing a great job there. Live every Wednesday, youtube.com/That's Hockey Talk. We appreciate what you guys are doing, by the way. Keep me updated on hockey. Basketball's happening. How you doing? Keep moving. NBA. Ben Simmons. What's going on over there? He didn't have a phone in his pocket. He had a jersey in his pocket. Breaking news via the Pat McAfee Show, via Sham Charania of the Athletic in the Stadium.
Yeah.
Boom.
Anyways,
Was that really breaking news?
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
the
Jersey
rounds.
thing?
Yeah, the jersey. He had a phone in his pocket. It very much looked like a phone in his pocket. That was huge news because that's how much he didn't care to be there, which is why Doc kicked him out. Shams comes in and said, actually, not a cell phone, even though it did look like he didn't care much. He didn't actually have his phone out there looking for trades in the middle of practice. It was his practice jersey. Boom, that became a story on the internet. The NBA only does well on Twitter, I've learned.
Yeah.
NBA, big Twitter platform. YouTube, people are, maybe it's just us. Nobody gives a fuck about us talking about it, which we're spending so much time right now on it. We probably shouldn't. I mean, what
Sports
are we doing?
Equinox is what you're talking about, by the way.
Bingo. Sports Equinox is happening because the NFL is also happening and WWE.
Oh, yeah.
So this might be the first time in history that this has happened. I'm not 100% sure, but it is a great day to be a sports fan, and we got to talk about all of it. We have Carissa Thompson from Fox NFL Kickoff and the Calm Down podcast with Aaron Andrews joining us in about 9 minutes. My wife listens to this podcast.
Really?
Good pod.
Yeah, she says she likes it. She says she likes the podcast. I'm excited. We should probably listen a little bit too. AJ, you listening?
I've actually seen clips of this online that they post.
Bingo. Me too. I haven't listened to a full episode. I was trying to do the, the classic. Normally, I would claim that I did listen to the podcast because I saw a 35-second clip.
Sure.
Normally, I'd be like, yeah, yeah, see, I listen, I love it all the time. In this particular case, I just wanted to let everybody know it's not me. My wife is actually listening, though.
There you go.
So we got ears to the ground. And then we have Ian Rapoport joining us in the next hour to break down. Maybe he'll be able to paint a clearer picture for what the fuck's going on tonight. Maybe we'll be able to find out who's coming, who's going. And there's a big story surfacing around the NFL right now about who's going where. And Ian Rapoport had told us this since the very beginning, that there were teams interested in Deshaun Watson. We were all mind blown. We were all flabbergasted. We had no idea how or why, especially with 26 very serious or 22 very serious allegations happening off the field. We are all very much on the mindset that that has to get handled before anything on the field can be handled, because why and how would you be able to focus on football with this serious of shit happening in real life? Then as the world continued to unfold and the days continued to go by, he wasn't placed on the commissioner's exemption list. He was at practice. He still didn't want to be there. He wasn't playing. He's still on the team. That he's not on the team. The allegations have not gone away. Allegedly, the NFL did an investigation. Who knows? Last night, it got real hot on the internet that Deshaun was going to Miami. This all started with John McClain. Who's been around long time down there in the Houston Chronicle. He said that the Texans-Dolphins could have a Deshaun Watson deal done this week.
Whoa!
AJ, the internet was abuzz immediately upon this being announced, obviously.
When you first read it, you're like, oh, okay, he's there. Like, they made the trade. This already happened. Then you look and you start to see, like, what they're mentioning, like 3-team deals and all of this stuff.
Bingo.
But there has to be, like, John McClain's been doing this forever. So there obviously is something to this. They've been working on this. Like, do you think it gets done?
Okay, so John McClain has been around Houston forever. He knows people. Here's to your point. Here's Cody M. Davis, also from Houston, at Cody Davis _24. In regards to the Texans closing in on a deal that would send Deshaun Watson to the Miami Dolphins, I am hearing that it could be a 3-team deal that would send Tua to the Washington football team, Deshaun to Miami, and then who knows what else would happen on the back end for the Texans to get something back in return. And they said they wanted, 3 players and a pick or something like that was the initial asking. So then you start seeing tweets from people outside of Houston that immediately start saying, I'm being told no chance. This is not happening. This is not true. Tua to Washington, somebody tweeted. We're hearing, JP Finley at JP Finley NBCS. All right, JP. Got a hard no when I checked on the Washington's interest in Tua. It's all BS. Okay, so Washington allegedly out now, if you listen to JP Finley, who once again is a reporter outside of Houston that is reporting about the trade that could potentially happen. There was others that said they heard nothing. Somebody in Denver tweeted something about, Marcel Louis Jacques.
Yep, boom, nailed it.
Oui. Marcel Louis Jacques. NFL landscape is fluid, but in regard to trades involving Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa and Deshaun Watson, a source close to the situation texts me, rumors are false. So who's leaking information to John McClain, who's been around a long time? Why are they leaking that information? Who benefits from that information being leaked? Is this real? Maybe. This has been talked about for the last couple weeks. Still, once again, makes no sense to any of us because all the serious shit happening off the field, but it sounds like Houston's given information that something's happening. Why would they want to do that? Maybe it makes their fans appreciate them more. Maybe it makes the league look like, hey, we are interested in shopping. Maybe they're putting that information out. Miami, Washington, who knows what they're leaking, AJ? We don't know shit about fuck right now about anything, it feels like, AJ.
I mean, that sums it up perfectly, I think, when we look at this situation, especially the fact that we don't know Deshaun Watson, his legal situation. Is the league going to suspend him? Like, do we have any idea what that looks like? And couldn't it be that, the Dolphins are trying to trade Tua. They would love to have Deshaun Watson, but there's not a whole lot of teams jumping out there trying to give much to get Tua.
Okay, so Tua, obviously, who knows how that thing goes? Because if you're
damage is done already for the Dolphins. If they want to salvage and think that Tua is their guy, like, damage is already done.
Well, this was leaked weeks ago, and we got buried by Dolphins fans as it being all bullshit. And by the way, this might still all be bullshit because
there's no way it's 100% garbage. There has to have been something. People have been looking into this at some point in the front offices.
Remember, the owner allegedly said hey, I want Deshaun Watson or whatever, and it gets even more conflicted because how Howie Roseman, I don't know if he was on record or he told somebody who went on to a radio show in Philly. Howie Roseman was interested in Deshaun Watson, so much so they sent an investigator down to Houston and then to talk to the NFL about everything going on and talk to Deshaun's legal team. And then it ultimately, Deshaun didn't want to play in Philadelphia. So that's alleged, another story that's coming out. So Philadelphia, Howie Roseman, and who knows how we feel about Howie Roseman.
Right.
I don't know anything about Howie Roseman. I know there's a lot of conversation outside about Howie Roseman. I've never met the dude. Seems like he does have a building that was on fire. Will they be able to put it out? Maybe, who knows? I don't know that whole thing. But if he sent an investigator down to talk to the legal team and also around Houston is how it was portrayed in the quote or whatever, what does that mean to everything that's going on off the field for Deshaun? Has Deshaun played football? Like, has he played football in a while? Because if you're trading Tua out in Miami, that means Deshaun's starting week 1. I don't think he's played in, 8, 9 weeks, 10 weeks? Has he done anything? It's a wild situation that I assume we'll watch unfold here, but trade deadline's coming up November 2nd. I assume that's why Houston's trying to maybe drum up some interest, and who knows what's real and what isn't.
Well, like with the Washington thing, I mean, you guys would know more, but like he's never going to say that mid-season, is he? I mean, I guess you could have like a source leak something and be like, yeah, this is a done deal. But like they have a game on Sunday. There's no way that someone within the building is going to be saying like, oh yeah, we're trying to get Tua, out of here soon. And like you said, the Texans now at this point, like they need to get rid of him. They don't know what's going to happen, but like he's not going to play for them again, and they have all this money like attached to him. If they want to get better and quickly, like they have to move on from him. They have to get rid of him.
Speaking of moving on, the Raiders seem to be doing just that with John Gruden. I don't know if you heard what Josh Jacobs said after their big win against the Broncos in Denver. Paul Gutierrez at P. Gutierrez ESPN tweets, man, in quotes, man, the sideline was just so, it was like, wasn't no anxiety. It was weird. It was like everybody was calm. You didn't have somebody cussing at you or going crazy at the refs. None of that something bad happening. Like, okay, next play. Raiders running back Josh Jacobs on what it was like post-Gruden on the Las Vegas Raiders sideline. A little bit. Now, I'm not saying that this is the same situation, but when a coach is fired and somebody else comes in and has to do something, there's a fresh energy, right? Everybody feels like they got to prove themselves again to somebody. Everybody, maybe things that you wanted to try for a long time that you weren't able to do, now with the new, maybe you'll be able to try it out. That could be a complete culture change in there, the way things are operated. I'd assume that football Rich, Paisan Richie Bisaccia, Bisaccia, Paisan, AJ?
Yep, I know.
I assume he's probably going to run it a little bit differently than John Gruden was, a special teams guy who seems to be beloved by everybody. Had Josh Jacobs loves it. It seems like the results are in the same fashion everybody else does. And who knows? What if old football Richie, Paisan Rich Bisaccia, gets the head coaching job forever in Las Vegas? Good for him.
I mean, if they make the playoffs, there's no way you can get rid of football Richie. And now that like the team itself seems to be backing him, you got to stick with the guy.
Got to. Let's go around. Jimmy G talking about his calf, AJ.
Mm-hmm. First off, going real quick back to that Josh Jacobs, that was not a subtle dig at John Gruden. Like, that's pretty direct. Hey, this guy was a spaz. Yeah. We don't have him anymore. Like, that's what it sounds like.
That was a crow hop. Pow! Boom! That's what that was. Very much. And I assume that maybe, I don't know how other media people read it, but as soon as I read it, I actually said, ooh, Josh Jacobs burying John Gruden. That is, because those words, you can choose to answer that two different ways. And by the way, we're at this point, but if the Raiders go, think about if the Raiders go, that'd be insane over there. Now, granted, Chiefs seem to have found them the team that they have been for the last couple of years in the second half there. Allegedly, Patrick Mahomes has come out and said, the team laughed in his face when they watched that interception where he bobbled the snap, picked it up, and then the ball came out literally as a kickoff like this, and it was intercepted. He said, Rob Collins at Fox 4 Kansas City, which is the same news station that hits the hard-hitting news research of X Factor and Red Extreme battling in the stadium in Chiefs Kingdom. Rob Collins of that same station peers with Jared Kittlestad. Everybody started laughing in the film room when watching the interception against Washington. Look, they're all past it. They're all past it. Isn't that right, AJ? They're all past it. By the way, there are some things that happen in games in those team meetings where there's a laser pointer potentially on something, and there is quite a comedy sesh that happens in some of those game recaps.
Oh, yeah. You always, away from the play, some guy is stumbling for 15 yards and he ends up falling on his head or something. Like, there's always some good stuff happening.
Yeah, only when you win, by the way.
Yeah, if you lose, if you lose, that kid may get shot in the face right there in the TV.
Jeez,
I'm telling the difference in attitude between the coaching staff and the difference in the room, how it feels from a win to a loss.
Okay, a little extreme, but I think you were just trying to put it in perspective like Gary Vee. Right,
True.
Whatever he thinks about it. Yeah, it was a little bit of an extreme perspective putter, but you're right. After a win, everybody can laugh about that type of stuff. If that was a loss, the fake, technical, fundamental coaching that would have, remember, you got to get good, secure the ball here, like that type of bullshit, that comes out of that whole thing. I don't know if that's how Andy Reid would ever do anything with Patrick Mahomes. I'm just telling you what it would have been like where I was. Some of those meetings are hilarious. Some of them are, talking to us like we're 12-year-olds. Awesome. This is great. I guess we deserve this. Let's move on. Joining us now is the host of the Calm Down podcast alongside Aaron Andrews.
Wow. Let's go.
My wife is actually a frequent listener of said podcast, said she loves it, especially in the sports world, that she is now fully into. Wasn't always. My wife wasn't always fully into. Love the Colts, love football. Now she is kind of, I don't want to say obligated before us, but she feels as if she has to get into sports, which I appreciate her doing so. It makes our everything much better. Loves this podcast. You can hear her on Fox NFL Kickoff on Sundays and throughout the entire day as she gives updates on all the other Fox games around the country. Ladies and gentlemen, Carissa Thompson.
Yeah! Guys, that is quite the intro. Thank you. You know what? We have merchandise too.
Oh! Hey, the merch game's real. You got to do that.
I'll tell you right now, though, I didn't know that we were going to dress alike today.
Oh!
It's fine. You know what? I was going to leave the jacket on because I was like, it's too early for the gun show, but you're here, I'm here. People are getting shot in the face. I mean,
figuratively.
That is true. That is fascinating that you did catch the tail end of that conversation about what could happen in team meeting rooms. And I appreciate your reaction to the intro. Aaron Andrews just fucking attacked me as soon as I remember. I gave her an entire. I thought it was a great intro. Like, hey, here we're talking about one of the, greatest of all time here. And she, just calling me blah, blah, blah. So I'm happy that you enjoyed the intro because we are big fans of yours around here.
Well, I appreciate that. In fact, you can make this entire interview an intro as far as I care. I mean, let's go back to, I used to host a rodeo show. What else did I do? Yeah, NASCAR. I love it.
Okay, so let's talk about how you landed in football then. Was football always dream destination, or were you just any sport? How did you get to where you are now? Because I did not know we did not do enough research. Obvious did not do enough research.
Wikipedia said that I was a trapeze. I'm putting the jacket on because it was fun to be twins for a second, but it's cold in here. The Wikipedia at one point said I was a trapeze performer, and I also interviewed trapeze artists. So I remember I went on a date with this guy, and he was like, "That's fascinating that you're a trapeze performer." And I was like, "I am?" He goes, "Yeah, Wikipedia said that." I go, "That's where we're getting our research?"
Oh,
that's
weird. We do. Oh, well, that is where we get our research. We did not read that on the Wikipedia, but I would like to let you know that particular dude probably did the same thing as us, and we will be better. We will be better. Go ahead, AJ.
You mentioned NASCAR and all the different things that you have done, like in the broadcasting world. What was something that surprised you that was actually really cool that you thought maybe, all right, how do I get this assignment?
A rodeo show. I was like, first of all, I'm 5'8", so I am towering over these people to begin with. Rodeo, like the rodeo circuits, like NASCAR drivers, they're much smaller. Similar to my time in Hollywood, I was all of these people.
That was a good joke.
But I would host this rodeo show, and it was a competition called Toughest Cowboy, and there was bareback, saddle bronc, and bull riding, and usually you specialize in one. But these guys had to do all three. And I remember I interviewed this dude afterwards, and he was all jacked up. He's like, woo, like screaming. I go, you lost, right? He's like, I did. I'm like, yeah, you lost. But it was a different experience. It was fun, though. I started in sports, though, because I worked in HR, which is a terrible idea for me because I'm a violation in every capacity.
Nice.
But yeah, I always wanted to be like Aaron. Aaron and I share a lot of things. Our birthday's the same. We've always wanted to be a sports broadcaster, our love for our father, all the things. But yeah, I wanted to get into sports. And so the only available position at Fox Sports was in the human resource department. So I lied to get the interview. I was like, I love working with people and all this stuff. And then I ended up becoming a production assistant and then worked my way on air by working when I went to Colorado. Who cares about all this? Let's go back to...
No. This is good. This is good stuff because that goes back to the old narrative. I think Adam Schefter told us this on the show. If you're looking to get into TV or whatever, do whatever you can to get into the building. Just get into the building, and then once you get there, you can kind of prove yourself to everybody. That's all you should do. And it sounds like acting like you'd be good in H&R. We got an H&R department.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We got an H&R department.
Oh, nice. We're doing H&R. H&R Block? Is that what's
No, human and resources, okay? Because it's about both of those things.
That's right.
That really is what it's about. And happy birthday to you and EA, by the way.
Yeah, happy birthday.
We missed a couple. We apologize.
That's also on Wikipedia.
Well, could be wrong, though. We don't do our research on Wikipedia. We're not like those other fucking assholes.
No.
No, not us. We're not like that at all. But you, now, today, Fox NFL Kickoff Show. That is... huge way to start a lot of Sunday for a lot of people. But then all day are you sitting in like a room with just a microphone and then they tell you like, hey, you need to do an update here? Because you pop in the middle of all these games around the country. How do you guys pick and choose what you're going to update people with? And that seems like that would be a very long and maybe monotonous job sitting there. And I might be wrong in reading this thing, but that seems like something that I would not be able to do, I don't think.
Oh, well, you could do it for sure. And I actually love it because it's the best way to consume and study for the next week's show. You're watching all the games. I mean, if you don't know what's happening and you're watching all the games, then I should go get a different gig. But I just sit on the same set that we do our show on. And yeah, you have a monitor of all the games. And I work with a producer, and he decides, it makes sense we're going to update the NFC North. Like if the, Packers and the Bears are playing, we'll take a Minnesota highlight in to update the NFC North. So kind of go division by division, or whoever someone's playing the next week, or whoever just played last week. So there is kind of a method to it. But any of the big games that are happening or overtimes or exciting endings go into all games.
Hey, I don't want to jinx you, but it seems like you've been batting a perfect game too when you drop into the middle of those games.
Oh, yeah.
Again, maybe thank you for saying that. But last week I threw back to the wrong crew. And my boss walked in and I go, yeah, I just kind of fucked that up. I just threw it back to the wrong crew. And he goes, don't worry about it. No one's listening. Okay. I've never done that in my life. Aaron and I were texting. And as we do, like, she'll be working a game and we're like texting and I'm doing highlights and I'm texting. She's like, aren't you doing a highlight? I'm like, I can multitask. I'm a woman. We're good here. Oh. But yeah, I threw it to the wrong crew. And again, I've never done that. But I was like, whoa, okay, cool. Adam. Let's throw it back to Adam Amin or Kevin Burkhardt. I'm not sure who's in the booth.
That's awesome.
Either way, like you said, well, I'm sure there's plenty of people listening.
Yeah, we heard it. We heard it. But aside from that,
did.
we thought that was fucking awesome. I thought it was good content. Good content. Go ahead, AJ.
Hey, what about Red Zone? You talk about managing traffic. Could you ever see yourself being one of the hosts of Red Zone? Like I sit there and watch them. Aren't they staying there for 7 hours straight and trying to manage all of that? Is that something you would want to do?
Yeah, I would love it. Yeah, it's like, I mean, that's any look, we all have great gigs. And so watching football on a Sunday and doing highlights, like, I'm good. Whatever you want, throw it at me.
Okay, so rodeo, NASCAR, Fox NFL Kickoff, in-game updates. What is like the end goal? Do you have an end goal, or you just want to keep kind of doing your thing?
I'm like the bull rider. I'm just holding on until I get bucked off. This has been 13 years in this bad boy. We can all sit here and, bitch about this or that, but these are great gigs and we know that they don't come around very often. So I feel very lucky to just, work in any capacity.
You crush it.
Jalen Rose told me one time, and I'll never forget this. He said, appreciate your position, but plan your promotion. And that idea where, we all don't know where we're going to go. And so as long as we still have a job and as long as we, aspire to do a decent job at it, then we're cool.
So what's the promotion? What's the promotion though? Do you want to call games? Do you want to what would be what is next, do you think?
Well, I don't like to say what's next because that feels like I'm disregarding what I'm doing now. I mean, for me, it's more about just doing other stuff outside of even sports, like the business side of things. I started an interior design company during COVID.
Let's go, dude.
Guys, look, do you want to talk about cover 2 or do you want to talk about covers? A duvet cover.
Need a new duvet.
And bring it all together here.
From cover 2 to covers, Carissa joining us here on SiriusXM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio, youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. Your favorite thing the NFL has added, done, or got rid of?
Dude, I'm over taunting. Let's get rid of that right now. It's come enough already. That rule's got to go.
I think it is gone, isn't it, though? It's kind of like early they overreacted to it, but now it's kind of gone, isn't it?
I was talking to Dean Blandino about this in the green room the other day where he thinks that next year they'll, similar to the excessive celebration after, touchdowns and stuff, that they'll bring that down. But that's just stupid to begin with. Like, even when they proposed that, or they told us that was going to be a rule this year, everyone's like looking around like, what? So I'm not into that. But
do you guys have any say over there at the big network? Like Fox has a lot of games. Do you guys have any say in anything? Do you feel as if you guys have any sway in anything that happens in the NFL?
No, we're just happy to be there. The NFL rules all. You know that.
They do, and they use that in negotiation with everybody. Bro.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
I gotta tell you, I don't know if my time's up here.
No.
I was in Vegas yesterday because I like to have 17 jobs in case one goes away for extra. And the story that you told on Monday night with Peyton and the 18 black, was it red or black? Black.
Red 18.
Oh, red.
Red 18.
I do the exact same thing. I'll walk straight into the casino, 23 red every single time. I've never hit immediately. I mean, I've hit 23 red, but not like in a walk-off fashion like you did.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. Now, granted, I wouldn't have hit because I had chips on literally every other one other than 18, and that would have been where I would have been. But him coming up, obviously, that whole thing, we moved it. It wasn't me. I'm saying it's that Monday Night fucking Manning guy. You know what I mean? He's unbelievable. Go ahead, Ty.
Carissa, I saw this somewhere, and it definitely wasn't your Wikipedia, but I believe you're from the Pacific Northwest, like Seattle. Do you have like an association with the Seahawks, or like when you get to Fox, do they basically say like, hey, there's no room for like your fandom here? Like, do you have to be very fair and balanced when you're doing stuff on Sundays, or do you still kind of have an allegiance to some teams or players?
Well, that's a great question. No, Fox doesn't care at all. Fox actually sent me to Seattle one time to do a whole feature on the 12th man. Like, this is where they're great. Like, it's, Howie can root for the Raiders. Charles can root for the Raiders. Terry can
Packers.
Be a homer, or Packers. Take your pick. He can be a homer about, Pittsburgh. So, yeah, no, they're cool like that. They don't care.
Go ahead, Tone.
Carissa, who is a better time to go out and get some drinks with? Is it Pereira or is it Glazer?
Oh, that's a toss-up. Glazer can throw down more than Pereira can, but offsides, sometimes Pereira gets, a little crazy. But yeah, I'd say if I have to put my money on one, I'm going Glazer all day.
What was that offsides talk there about Pereira?
Well, where do we want to go? Throw a flag and talk about it.
That's great. Go ahead, Connor.
Hey, he is Portuguese. He's a wild card. That's what they say.
Whoa.
Carissa, we've been doing a lot talking about the game tonight. Do you have any sort of insight on who's playing, who's not playing, and who's going to win?
With what? With who?
The game tonight.
There's so many question marks, Carissa, that nobody knows shit. Nobody knows anything.
This is where we should text Erin, considering she's working the game. All I know is that my money's on the Broncos. Is Cleveland even have a team?
Are you texting Erin? Right? Like, we can't. This isn't like something we can do. I don't think this is.
No. Do you want me to ask her who's in, who's out? We need a full update.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
Oh, my money's on the Broncos.
Oh, you're picking the Broncos tonight. How about Jarvis? You gonna play?
Let's go to Erin for more.
Breaking news. Jarvis Landry is in tonight. It has been made official via Ian Rapoport. The Browns have activated wide receiver Jarvis Landry to the active roster, and he'll play today. He was dealing with an MCL sprain. Look for Jarvis to get loose tonight. All right, his game back. The juice is loose out there. The beast doing his thing. How do you think it is for Aaron. You say you'll text Aaron. She knows so much about everything she can't talk about it. How does that happen, you think? And do you have any of that where you know a bunch of shit but you're not allowed to say it? And how do you balance it? Because as soon as I hear it, it comes right out. I don't know how anybody can do this secret information shit.
No, I know. You and I are cut from the same cloth. That's why they probably don't give us as much information as they give the other folks that are good enough to vet that out. No, I just say it, which is probably why I get in trouble sometimes. But no, unless somebody's saying directly from the player themselves, like, hey, don't say anything, then I wouldn't violate the trust that I have there. But it's an information business. Get it out there.
Yeah, bingo. Me too.
If you ain't first, you're last. Pat.
Hey, bingo. Now, it turns out at the end of that movie, he does say, no, there's a whole bunch of places.
Yeah. He was high when he said that.
Yeah, it was high. But you're right. It did motivate me as well, that particular saying. Go ahead, AJ.
Hey, Carissa, who are some of your favorite coaches in the league that you get to interact with, that you get to talk to or interview?
Well, this is a perfect example of me throwing Rod Marinelli under the bus. I worked that Detroit season 0-16 because it was one of my first years doing sidelines. Oh. So there comes a point where you're like, and I was on the Z crew. I just started, so every week I was in Detroit, and after a while, it's like, dude, what adjustments are we going to make at halftime? Like, you can only ask the question so many times. And I think it was week 14, doesn't matter, still losing. And I was like, so coach, and he's like, that's a great perfume you're wearing. I'm like, we're good. I'm going to make up this report. It's fine. So, I made up the report. I just made up something. I was like, oh, yeah, it says, by the way, half those reports, you're like, okay, we got to cut down the penalties. We got to stop, we got to tackle better. You could just package that report, and no one's going to be like, hey, I didn't say that. No.
What? Did anybody get Rod any backlash on his either incredible halftime adjustments that didn't work that potential week, or maybe his lack of them? What did you make up? Something hilarious? Did you say anything like, look for him in the second half, maybe go for it every fourth down, kick it on the sideline? Yeah,
I was like, don't buy CK1. Get Tom Ford, Black Cherry. I don't know.
Chris?
Some coaches that, Herm Edwards was a coach when I was with the Chiefs when I was doing sidelines, and he was always a beauty to talk to. Just, high energy people. I'm into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Carissa, we appreciate you so much for stopping by.
Appreciate you.
We're going to get the mug.
Yeah,
we're going to get the calm down mug.
Aaron and I will send you guys some.
No, we'll buy it. We support the biz. We appreciate that. Yeah, we support.
Swipe up.
We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Swipe up. Carissa Thompson.
Yeah!
Thank you, Carissa. I hate why is it sometimes when there's a connection, if we make any noise, we can't hear them?
I don't know. It's the worst. Is it because of the microphone being on the
iPhone being down? Usually, what happens?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
that's what happens to me on this side the whole time. Like I don't hear a lot of little things that are being said. It's however FaceTime works.
Really,
that's
I could not.
Side, though.
What's that?
On our side, it does it because the microphone. His side, it's just because the audio.
Yeah, we can hear you though. Anytime we're speaking over, and some guests we can hear over, but sometimes we can't. For that one, I could hear it.
Yeah.
She is working like 10 hours on Sundays, though, by the way. I think that was the big takeaway for me. Like, how are you? She's up at.
Does she still work with AC Slater, like on Extra?
AC Slater, he does all the hotels, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mario Lopez.
Yep.
Yeah, AC Slater. Yeah.
Dude does not age either. He looks awesome at however old he is now.
And his kids are very active. His kids were a part of a watch-along I did at WrestleMania a couple years ago.
Crawling on the floor.
His kids were live. They were wide open. They were having time of their lives. And AC was trying to dad, I think, but it was very difficult at the time. Beautiful family.
I watched a guy a video of a guy's day today who actually hosted Extra. Man.
All right. Well, we got to get to a break. We got to get to a break. We're back in 4 minutes, all right? Shout out to Acho, by the way. Acho picking up all the jobs.
Thank you, Acho.
Send that to me, Diggs.
All right. We're back in 4 minutes. We'll wrap up hour one here with some phone calls. Thanks to Carissa Thompson for joining us. Her podcast, the Calm Down Podcast with Aaron Andrews. I'd assume a lot of the dudes that listen to this show, watch the show, their ladies are forced to watch and listen. I know that because I think my wife gets a lot of tweets from those. I think that podcast is a potential great podcast to get into.
There you go.
We'll listen to it as well, obviously. Probably learn us some stuff.
Absolutely.
Like Wikipedia ain't fucking shit, dude.
No, I said, hey, her Wikipedia page stinks. Someone needs to, really tighten this up.
He actually did say that before we went on the air, and it turns out Carissa hates it as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're back in 4 minutes with some phone calls on 5 Energy phone line 1-833-4 McAfee. Edge, beat Seth Rollins.
Yeah, what a victory.
Crazy. 4. Crazy, dude. Crazy. I'm not even going to pick who wins the game, I don't think.
What's going on?
We're putting together the risk-free same-game parlay that is going to hit for millions and millions of dollars. Okay?
Here we go.
Right now, we are very lucky that we got the hottest same-game parlay bettor in Pan in the building. And that's Ted Diggs. He's part of the council.
Have we got any word from your wife, who also has been very...
She actually walked out of the house this morning to go up to her office and says, good luck with that same-game parlay. I already have mine figured out. And then just left. So,
what's that all about?
Well, I don't know. Tone chooses not to help us today either.
Well, in all honesty, my same-game parlay streak is in the NBA. It's not an NFL, so...
Tony.
The council is gathering. We are piecing the same game parlay together that is definitely going to hit tonight. Okay? That's all you need to know, folks. Did you think that it was more a negative response to the I still own you thing? Because I'm going to be honest, maybe I just have too many blinders on. Everybody I saw loved it. I mean, Chicago isn't going to love it, but everybody, like, I don't know if you heard Darius Butler came on yesterday. He was like, to see a quarterback act like that is awesome, because normally quarterbacks are always the right answer, and I think this is what you're referring to. Always in cliches, always working hard, always this, and as soon as you step out of line a little bit, I could see there being a little bit negativity, but at this point, wasn't everybody on your side, or was there people actually attacking you in this particular world?
Well, I don't know about attacking. I mean, Tom sends me choice articles from time to time about what is being said about certain things. I mean, my teammates and the organization, I think, really loved it. I think most Packer fans enjoyed it as well.
Hey, we loved it. Hey, we loved it. Zito?
No, hated it.
Oh, okay, see, it's from Chicago. He was supposed to hate it. He was supposed to.
I saw Olin Kreutz said he wanted to punch me in the face. Look, I think that is to say, and I don't know Olin. I respect him. He played in the league for a long time, but are we getting that soft as a society that we can't have worth now? I mean, you know, somebody can pay for a ticket and say whatever the hell they want, which I think they should be able to. That's fine. But the one time you say something back to them, that gets caught on it. That gets caught on hot mic, which, you know, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that gets said from time to time. Now it's that, you know, I've disrespected, you know, an entire city and organization and my own organization.
Well, and Justin Fields, you said Justin Fields stinks whenever you told Chicago that you owned him or whatever. You're an asshole. I guess I did see those. I'm sorry. I'm just now realizing that you were a terrible person for it, although in my house and in where we are, like, that's the coolest thing we've seen in some time. I said it was going to go down as something to talk about, people talk about forever, as well. Like Randy Moss, okay? T.O. with the autograph, the ball, and you telling a city that you own them when you're 22-5 against them, fucking some of the greatest competitive trash talk in the history of trash talk. I went to one of his shows. He forced me into doing, he's wearing football pants.
I think Mark
He had actual knee pads. Does he have a fake face on?
Yeah, he has a fake face on. That is not Chris Angel. That or he's been eating McDonald's with Mark Davis for the last 5 years.
I just want everybody to know.
Straight to his face.
I just want everybody to know this is NFL related. Okay? We have to talk about it.
Yes. We have to cover it. Why is his penis a different color?
He's wearing football pants.
Tony, that's a...
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Welcome back to that show. 54 minutes, 55 minutes into hour one, which means we have a hard out on Sirius XM in 55 seconds right now. AJ, to the Sirius XM listeners, they're going to have to go to another 6-minute commercial break. Anything to say to them as we stay live at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show? I've been bad host with this whole thing, you know, because conversations just keep going so long early.
No, it's good. It's authentic. I think it's great. You don't need to follow the model that people have set before. It doesn't mean anything. But you know what? Thursdays, we know Thursday Night Football Thursdays are a big day for Mad Dog. So if they stick through the next couple hours, I think there'll be a great show coming up.
Risk-free, same-game parlay Thursday Night Football Thursday.
How is it risk-free?
Get it right,
Because you just got to opt in. Risk-free, $10 bet. Risk-free. Boom. How you doing? Now we get
So
the
I get
chance.
paid back if I lose?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
We agree it's awesome. And guess what? Our same-game parlay is officially up on FanDuel Sportsbook.
Let's go!
So now
Yeah.
it's time to hammer this thing home as the odds before they change. We're back at 6 minutes on SiriusXM. Terrible hosting.
No.
That was a great conversation with Carissa Thompson.
True.
And
I agree, but those people, 10 minutes, they got 1 minute live out of the last 11, 12 minutes there.
Yeah, but
They'll survive.
they're in their car. Like, who says they're in their car for all those minutes?
You're right. Maybe they stopped
Stop
to
at
get
gas
gas.
station.
They stopped to get gas. Some chew.
Yep.
take a piss.
I had to do that whole thing. I feel
They'll
bad.
probably make some phone calls during that time, too.
Hey, probably. Yeah, maybe some text or something.
Yep.
Don't text while you're driving, obviously.
No.
Yeah.
Watch from the back.
Unless you're good at it. If you're bad at it, fucking don't do it because you give us all a bad look.
Yeah, or if you're in
and by
traffic.
us, I don't do it. I don't do it, obviously. But I'm just saying other people that potentially do it, that are good at it, that have no problems doing it at all, they potentially are getting a bad rap because those of you who are terrible at it, and I ride a motorcycle, this is how I know, because you actually have to look at the person that is driving to see whether or not you want to pass them because they might just give a little bit of a lean that they're potentially going to go, and that's what you should be looking at as opposed to the tires of the car in general as you're riding a motorcycle. Not that motorcyclists, I'm smarter than anybody, I'm just telling you that's what you got to do. There's some very bad texters and drivers, AJ, and I'd assume, without a doubt, you're one of them. So you should be a guy that does not text and drive, but maybe the drivers are doing stuff.
I try not to do it. Because I've said on here, I think it is so dangerous to text and drive. I think everyone's been in a situation. I've ran red lights that have scared me in the past. I've done things where I'm like, all right, and I wasn't even. I've ran red lights on the speakerphone talking to somebody, and all of a sudden I'm in the middle of an intersection and you're like, geez, I'm almost dead.
That's
You're a clown, dude.
Not just you. You're no, I don't know if you're a clown, but
So I don't do it. Things like that scare me to where I'm like,
you,
all right, put
AJ.
this.
That's
sucker
good.
down.
Hey, AJ, that's self-awareness.
Yeah, baby AJ.
About time.
You realize that you are a terrible driver. You are a terrible.
Well, I'm a great driver, but texting and driving is not a good idea. It's bad. It's much more dangerous than driving after drinking 39 beers.
Okay, see.
I don't know.
Yeah, are you shitting me?
don't know.
I'm
39
telling you.
beers?
Hey, if you drink 40 beers, at least you're paying attention to the road.
AJ,
You're
none of
probably
this
not
is
man
good.
who's done both.
None of this is good. Okay, you shouldn't do either of
It's
them.
all terrible.
But I do. Yeah, you would have to have experience, I guess. The thought though that you understand that you are one of those guys that can't do it, I appreciate. There's not enough of you, and this is coming from a motorcycle driver that you have to watch. There is a lot of bad texters and drivers out there, and it's like you're bad. Then there's some that are very good. I guess not me. I don't do it either. Like that, I've never just blown through a red light and said, "Oh, I could be dead." Same with everybody in there. I don't fall asleep while driving. I don't drive with both legs. I don't do any of this stuff. But that's probably what the listeners are doing on SiriusXM, I guess. Let's go to the phones, shall we? Wrap up hour one here live at youtube.com/the McAfee Show. When are you getting out of here, AJ? You're done today?
I got to roll by like 1:30.
Oh, you don't say.
When's Rapoport coming?
Raport's coming 1:10.
Okay. You want me to stick around with him?
Yeah, so you'll go after. What if that goes 1:35, 1:40? What?
I'll just back out. I'll just X myself out.
Dude.
Oh, so 1:30 hard out of the attic.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Jeez, dude.
You're the best, dude. I never know what you're doing with your life, but I appreciate the fact that 1:30 is a hard out. Because that's something I can't do either. If it's 1:30,
Give or take.
but I don't have a full family and everything that has to probably go alongside of it. So we appreciate you joining us here early in the day. Let's go to Ethan in El Paso, Texas. Ethan, what's going on, pal?
Hey, what's up, guys? How are y'all doing?
Hey, not too shabby, man. Edge got a big win over Seth Rollins, dude. Big win.
Nice. First, I just want to give a shout-out to the pod. Appreciate all of you guys. I watch you guys every day. I want to say, Connor, Ty, you guys are amazing. Love all of you. Second, I just want to give a little take, your guys' take on the Bronco game coming up. I'm a Bronco fan over here in Texas. It's kind of hard with all these Cowboy fans. But, yeah, just give your take a little about it. I know you guys don't talk about them too much because we do freaking stink. I'm hoping if we can get a win over the, half-hurt Browns.
All right, shut the fuck up. All right, Ethan. I appreciate it.
What are you mad at?
Well, because he doesn't have to go into the full where he stink or whatever. We talk a lot about the Broncos.
Love the Broncos.
We talk a lot about the Broncos.
Yeah, they're
I'm actually
awesome.
a big fan of the Broncos.
Started
His
3-0.
dad works for the Broncos.
Yeah, man. I feel like we talk a lot about the Broncos. I do feel like that is something that gets said to a lot of national shows, though. You know, they say oh, we never get talked about. We never talk about it. It's like, I feel like we actually do. Anyway, a little bit more stern but fair. But the Broncos aren't really in the conversation because they lost 3 straight games after starting out very hot.
Yeah, and as someone who roots for a team who is currently 2-4 and on the brink of their season being over, I will take it upon myself to talk about these teams that no one seems to talk about.
Well, and also tonight, if they win, man, they're going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, tonight's a big night for the Broncos and the Browns.
Yeah, both of them.
Both teams, these are huge nights. Jarvis Landry's back for the Browns, which is awesome. Congratulations to Jarvis getting off the sprained MCL, I think is what he had. Sprained MCL in his knee. He's back. That's good for the Browns. But the Broncos tonight, big time. They should win this game. Chuck said it yesterday. Everybody in the Broncos organization knows they're supposed to win this game. Everybody's thinking they're supposed to win this game because all the Browns are out. It's a crazy night, and I assume it's a crazy time to be a Broncos fan, especially Ethan. You started out hot, and then all of a sudden it got cold. It's like, all right, here we go.
They're expected to win even though they're 1-point dogs?
Yeah, I don't know.
They have their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
That's why it makes no sense, AJ. That's why this game makes no sense at all. And in our same game parlay, we do not have a pick of who's winning.
Smart.
We did not. We've stayed away from that. That was a group council decision. I'm pretty thankful for it.
It's kind of a tough game for them because if they blow Cleveland out, you say, all right, Cleveland had none of their starters. And if they lose, you're like, how did you lose to a team that didn't have any of their starters?
Bingo. That's what I think the coaching staff.
Spot.
Yeah, that is what the coaching staff is thinking. And for us, Broncos should win, it feels like. Right? Broncos should win. They have their starting quarterback. Everybody else. But for somehow the line is not saying. It makes no sense to us. That's why the same game parlay that will debut in about a minute and a half is going to hit, AJ.
Hell yeah.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show, hour 2 on this beautiful, risk-free, same-game parlay, Thursday Night Football Thursday will begin right now. Yeah. Hey, our boost, our same-game parlay, our risk-free same-game parlay is officially up on FanDuel Sportsbook. Listen to this, AJ Hawk. Melvin Gordon, 25-plus rushing yards. How you doing? Keep it moving. He's splitting time in the backfield. He has gone over 25, I think, basically every single. Case Keenum, 225-plus passing yards. His over-under is actually just at 219.5, which is what we had originally selected, over 219.5. They came back and asked if it could be the 225-plus passing yards alternate amount because that'll set the tone a little bit more for the odds to remain the same throughout the day. We said sure, but if that thing lands at 222 yards, we will be heartbroken. Cortland Sutton, 70-plus receiving yards. He and Teddy Bridgewater have a great connection through the weeks. He does well, as does Tim Patrick, 40-plus receiving yards for him. Now, granted, Myles Garrett is going to potentially eat, and it might be tough for Teddy, who has a little bit of a quad. Think he's going to be able to throw for at least 110 yards, hopefully between those two. Think Melvin's going to be able to run, and also believe that Case Keenum, especially with Jarvis Landry being back, is going to be able to connect on more passes than anybody could imagine. AJ, your initial thoughts on that particular same game parlay that is currently sitting at plus 771.
Wow. Okay.
$10 wins you $77. Risk free. Let's go and hammer this thing, AJ Hawk.
I mean, it seems very doable, all of those things. So if you had to pick one thing out of the 4, what's the toughest that you're most worried about?
Case Keenum, 225.
Easy.
Really?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, that's...
Von Miller says he's going to kill a guy. Von Miller says he's going to kill a guy, AJ. I have no idea how Case Keenum is going to do. Can you hit that show more on there, too? So Melvin Gordon, 25-plus yards. That can happen anytime. One play. How you doing? Keep it moving. Cortland Sutton, 70-plus yards. That could be 3-4 plays. That could happen. Tim Patrick, same thing. Did not know this guy existed. Then Diggs read off a bunch of stats about him. Hell of a football player. Yeah. Teddy Bridgewater likes throwing him the ball. Let's go ahead and do that thing. The 225-plus, us giving up 6 yards on the actual total of over-under yards for Case Keenum is the thing I am worried about. But it also made the boost much much bigger than what it could have been, which is like 5 something. It jumped up to plus 770 something.
Also, if this game stinks, and there's a good chance it may stink, we're still invested for all 4 quarters here. You
These
know what I
things
mean?
are all live.
That's right. That's right.
We got live action out there.
Oh, yeah.
Literally throughout all 4 quarters. And we'll be joined by Ian Rapoport in about 4 minutes or so. And hopefully we'll have a little bit more information as the breaking news on injuries out of Cleveland continues to roll out here today. He broke last hour that Jarvis Landry's back.
Hell yeah.
What does that mean about Odell Beckham Jr.? What does that mean about Case Keenum? Is Case Keenum more comfortable with tight ends throughout the history of his quarterbacking? Yes, he has that big play to Stephon Diggs. Everybody knows that. But if you look at the Broncos defense, they're like 7th in the NFL against tight ends and then like 20-something against wide receivers. And the Browns are like 3rd in the league against tight ends and then something bad against wide receivers. This is the amount of information and research we did this morning to try to piece together this same game parlay on a game that we know absolutely nothing about, AJ.
Who was their 3rd-string quarterback? The Browns.
Baker.
I believe Nick Mullins was moved up from the practice squad. He's the backup for tonight.
Nick Mullins from San Fran?
Yeah.
That's good.
Don't let that dude get in and get hot. We've seen what he can do. That guy's a stud.
So you're thinking if Case Keenum starts out a little bit chilly.
Not even that. No, I'm saying if Von Miller follows through on what he said he's going to do, well, if he kills the tackle, I would imagine the quarterback's going to get some collateral damage as well.
Yeah, we need him not to die. We need Case Keenum not to die. Case Keenum knows that this night could be one of the biggest nights of his career. There's been a lot of questions asked about...
What happened?
I don't know what's going on right now.
I was waiting for you to see how this was playing out.
Insane.
Oh, you watch the wrestling situation happening?
Yeah,
Did Bob Backlund come back?
No. Mustafa Ali, I think, just got a win, and now he's exiting the ring as a man in a gi just showed up with his...
Is it Dwight Freeney's guys?
Nah, similar gi. It is a red belt. Is that better than a... What is a red belt?
Well, it just allegedly said that he was a silver medalist in the Tokyo Olympics, this guy.
This guy?
Yeah. So...
Might be a blood belt.
Mustafa,
too.
get out of there. Oh,
my God.
No.
Oh, my God.
Mustafa,
night.
Oh, that was night.
Holy shit. Crowd's going wild.
They are going banana land over there. Jesus.
Hometown hero.
I'm happy. Yeah, hometown hero, silver medalist. Oh, jeez. Anyways, we're back. We'll talk to Ian Rapoport in about 2 minutes about what's going on. Hopefully, no kicks to the head tonight for Jarvis Landry and anybody like that.
Yeah.
My real question, though, AJ, listen, and I might be out of line for asking this. The Baker Mayfield thing, torn labrum. They're resting him tonight. What? Because why?
Maybe just to buy him some time to say, hey, if you get 7 to 10 days, will it calm down enough to where you can play? Or if it doesn't, then you'll have to get the surgery.
Yeah, because they said that expected to need surgery on his torn labrum following this season is the idea. Now, I wonder if that's Baker Mayfield pushing back on that so much.
Yes, I would bet it is Baker Mayfield saying, no, I'll just get it after the season. They easily could say, I don't know. I doubt they probably want him to give it a shot, I'm sure.
Well, no, I don't know if they do, because this was the big conversation earlier in the week, is that Baker wanted to play. Baker very much wanted to play, even though it is an incredibly painful injury. Baker wanted to be out there. The doctors, the team, everybody had to make this decision for him or whatever. But it's not like that labrum's going to heal by next week. And this injury, it's going to get inflamed every single time it gets hit, I'd assume, if it's anything like anybody else's torn labrum. That's going to be, I guess, because it's just 4 days, so it didn't have a chance to go all the way down like it would in a normal week, and maybe they're just giving him an extended week. But he's going to be in pain all year. This is going to be something that's going to hurt like a motherfucker all year for him.
Yeah, it depends on how much of it is torn and how bad it is. You know, people have gotten MRIs when they're like, oh, I guess I got a torn labrum, where they didn't know it. Like, that's a different case than what that Baker had. Baker hits like subluxes or whatever, right? And that's what starts to tear it more. Is that what happens?
Yeah, you said that there were some people that had torn labrums that didn't even know it?
Yeah, they get an MRI on something on their rotator cuff, and they saw that the guy's like, I got a torn labrum too. We got to clean that up.
Oh, so this is like there's some people that can operate with no ACL or a torn ACL.
Yeah, I think like depending on where it is, also like and how much of it is gone or torn, I think that it's a huge deal.
Why do humans make those things?
His is like completely torn though, and
full.
I think that's like one of the issues is like if he does continue to play, like he might really, really get hurt.
Well, he's already really, really hurt. He's already going to have surgery, labrum surgery. Joining us now is somebody who probably knows more about this, definitely knows more about this than we do. A man who's been breaking all the news out of Cleveland today in anticipation for tonight's Thursday night football game, which we have a risk-free same-game parlay that's a plus 771 that we guarantee is going to hit, even though we don't know who's going to play. Insider for the NFL and NFL.com, ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rapoport.
Yeah,
What's up?
What's going on, dude?
Did you hit last week?
Dude. All right. Listen, you shut your mouth.
I'm just wondering.
No, you're not wondering. You know. You knew what happened. And this week, it's supposed to be better. But I'll tell you what, the bullshit tweets from the insiders about who's playing and who's not playing isn't helping us, Ian. What is going on with the Browns? Are these all last-second decisions that are going on? Is there real conversation happening about who's going to play, who's not going to play, or do they already know?
I would say mostly, sometimes on Sundays you really don't know. Like there's always a couple players on Sundays who get out there, test it out, and you're like, all right, I can play or I can't play. Thursday night, I think you probably know, which is why, the Browns did the smart thing, ruled out Baker Mayfield yesterday because, he met with the doctors yesterday morning. He knew. I think, it sounds like Jedrick Wills probably goes. Sounds like Conklin probably not. Sounds like Odell probably not. Now for him,
but that's what you're saying. Probably, sounds like.
So let me explain the Odell thing. He wants to go very badly.
Okay.
And so I believe the team is trying to do him a solid and give him every opportunity to go because he wants to play. It is a painful injury. Sometimes you can play with it, sometimes you cannot. So I don't think he goes, but I would also not rule him out because he very much wants to play.
So what about Baker? What happens after this game? Is he playing next game, and is he going to last the whole season?
He is expected to play next game, from what I know. He's going to spend the next, let's say, 9 days or so working on that labrum, kind of tightening it up. He's going to wear that harness on his left side, so he should be able to go. Last week going down with that kind of weird fall, which I'm sure you've seen, with his arm kind of extended, where his shoulder popped in and out again. It did not help. And I would imagine it probably created more damage. And, if it's too fast. Like from Sunday to Thursday, it's tender, it's sore, it's swollen. It's just too fast. But then the other question is way more complicated. Does he make it through the season? I could easily say yes, because he's going to tighten it up. He'll rehab well. He'll deal with the pain, and he'll be okay. The problem is, how many more times are we going to do this?
What the fuck are you talking about? Tighten up a torn labrum?
So basically, no, you secure, and I'm obviously a doctor. It's not going to repair the labrum, but you're going to strengthen the everything around it to make it at least manageable. Except when you create more damage around it, it makes the ball more susceptible to coming out of the socket thing. So that would be bad. And if he does that again, then he might need surgery early.
Okay, we're going to call you back because you sound a little muffled. It probably is on your end, maybe on ours. I'm not 100% sure. This has happened a couple times. Jonathan Taylor yesterday, it sounded like he was speaking through a megaphone, through the microphone, had to do his entire thing there. But
Jonathan Taylor got fixed because it was on their end.
It was on there. Yeah. The gain was a little bit too high. Now, these are words that only in the back end you speak about. And I almost brought it to the live air, but I didn't want to call anybody out because it could have been on our end. We did all the research.
Maybe Rap Sheet dropped his computer in a fish tank. And
we don't know.
It's a little broken down a little bit.
We have no idea. By the way, get the rice, dude.
Yeah.
Put that thing in the rice. But we got Zito back there kind of putting that little thing in. Tighten up the labrum, he said. Tighten that thing up. I still don't understand.
Do little band stuff. He's going to be doing a bunch of little band things, in, out, up, doing this thing, trying to tighten up. Yeah, good luck.
What if Case Keenum balls out, too?
Yeah.
What if he throws for 300 and Odell or Jarvis has the best game they've had in a while?
Think about how loud the morning shows will be.
My God.
Hey, Ian, if Ian, you back, I think? Hey, Ian, how you doing?
I ditched the AirPods. Yeah.
You sound better. It was probably the AirPods. Maybe it was us, too. Who knows? It might have been the connection. It's the world. It's a crazy place. If Case Keenum balls tonight, everybody on Earth knows how loud it's going to be tomorrow, right? Everybody on Earth expects that and knows that you're talking to?
I don't get it. Do you get this? Am I crazy? I know you're not wrong. If let's say Case Keenum goes out and the Browns win, I don't know, 28-17 or something like that, you are going to hear the assorted hot takes about how he should be the starter.
Yes, oh yeah. It's going to be loud.
He should not be the starter. Baker is good. He is playing through a torn labrum, as you may or may not have heard me through my stupid AirPods. It's painful. It affects how he throws and his accuracy. To me, unless I'm literally crazy, Baker Mayfield is the future starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, just like he's the current starting quarterback. They don't have an extension for him yet, but I would expect them to work on one in the offseason. I haven't heard anything to the contrary. Also, as you know, if you don't have a quarterback, it sucks. It really sucks. So maybe Baker Mayfield isn't Lamar Jackson, but he's probably the 8th or 9th best quarterback, which you can win a Super Bowl with that.
Okay, and I mean, people will probably put you to the fire to list off those 8 to 9. We will not do that. We'll allow the internet to do such a thing. But whenever you talk about another contract, that's a huge piece of the salary cap, is why everybody is talking about this. But if you look at the Lions, for instance, they had Jim Caldwell come in there, win out of nowhere. Then they fired him because he didn't win enough. It's like the Browns have that quarterback jersey that has 7,000 names on it. They finally win. They get to the playoffs. It would be a very interesting move if they're like, nah, the grass is greener somewhere else. We're going to get another young quarterback. We're going to do this. Andrew Berry has a very difficult decision to make, obviously, because that is going to be more of the salary cap and they're going to have to go forward. But if you move on from the quarterback that finally won in your town, there's a chance that the football gods will dunk on your fucking head for eternity, don't you think?
Right. You mess up all the karma, mess up all the good juju. Well, here's the other thing. And it's not just because the Browns have had the jersey with all the quarterbacks, which I love. It's also, it's not a good draft for quarterbacks, it sounds like. So, I can't just assume the Browns are going to get one. And there are, if you go through the list of the teams that will probably need a quarterback after this year, it's astounding. There's so many. And I don't know where all these quarterbacks are going to come from. So if you're the Browns and you have, again, let's say a quarterback in the top 10, okay? Are you sure you want to let him go and try to get who's behind door number B or whatever? I don't get that.
Well, it'd be letter, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers, huh? Oh.
No. I thought you guys had put him in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Well, no, we didn't put
does your show.
No, Pittsburgh put him in Pittsburgh. I mean,
Aaron
that not us.
did that himself.
We didn't do any. Matt Riddle. Riddle is coming out on a camel.
Oh,
all right.
Holy shit.
There's a camel on the screen right now. Riddle's higher than everybody over there, and it's because he's on a camel, not because he's allowed to do anything. You're not allowed to take it over there from what I've been told. There's insanity happening in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Okay, so can we run through tonight, though, real quick, who's in and who's out? Because we kind of heard you, we kind of didn't. Conklin out. Conklin's out. Jarvis in. Odell probably out.
And I think Jedrick Will's probably in.
Chubb, Hunt out.
Hunt is out. Chubb is out. And this is annoying because this would have been good information earlier in the week, but it sounds like Dearness Johnson, I believe I got that right, is going to be the guy who's going to carry the rock. So that would be someone, if you're into fantasy, that would be someone you might want to pick up. Had I been thinking faster, I might have picked him up, but I didn't.
How many yards do you think Dearness Johnson's going to rush for tonight? You think, and if he doesn't get hot, do you think they'll bring in Felton, or do you think they're going to rely upon Dearness Johnson?
I would imagine this is a hot hand situation because it's not like either running back has proven anything.
Okay.
But so when you ask me that, are you asking just for your own personal?
No. Well, this was a full conversation earlier. What you just said right there was something we talked about earlier because we were going to put his over in the same game parlay tonight, the risk-free same game parlay that will probably have a few thousand people riding on it that could take millions and millions from FanDuel. But after last week's beep situation with Tom Brady, where our same game parlay got ruined by a kneel down, an archaic stat that needs to change completely. We were going to have Dearness Johnson over rush yards in the same game parlay, but then we thought to ourselves, well, what if Felton gets in, he gets hot, neither of them really, are they just going to feed the, and that's what you kind of said there. So early when you said, hey, fantasy people, if you want to know about Dearness, literally the whole room was like, oh fuck. No. We had this in there. We talked ourselves out of it. What do you expect from him? Do you think he's a good player? And I know nothing about him. I know he's from South Florida. South Florida boys run. I know that. I know he's probably going to eat a little bit.
I don't know enough about him. What I do know is their system is good. And the same system that Minnesota is obviously using. And we've seen Dalvin Cook is very good. And then Madison comes in place of Dalvin Cook. He's also good. And with the Browns, you have Chubb, who's good, and then Kareem Hunt comes in, and he's similarly productive. Like
Broncos have the same thing. Broncos have split backfield as well, I think.
Yeah, and I think Javonte Williams is probably not. We'll see what he ends up being. I feel like whoever runs the ball for the Browns is going to be successful enough today to keep them honest and let the offense keep moving. Stefanski does a pretty nice job there.
All right. Ian, what about the reports that were popping up last night about Deshaun Watson heading to Miami to possibly a 3-team deal? Is there anything like that you've heard?
We'll start with the Tua part of it. I don't see any 3-team deal happening. I don't even know if there's ever been one in the history of the NFL. It would be fun, but that seems more like an NBA/fantasy thing. I also, from what I can tell, believe the Dolphins have not made any calls at all as far as potentially shopping Tua. Like, they don't even know if they're going to get Deshaun Watson, so why would they make any calls to shop Tua? Tua might be their quarterback for the rest of the season. If they do end up getting Deshaun Watson, Tua probably also plays for them anyway for a variety of reasons. I don't know. I would be very surprised if they have done any homework on that, so I certainly don't think a 3-team trade is happening.
How come Houston folks are reporting that the trade is a done deal and then everybody outside of Houston saying anything differently? Do you think potentially the Texans organization is trying to float some information that people are getting interested because the trade deadline's coming up and they're trying to make a play?
I don't see why they would need to. I mean, there is interest in Deshaun Watson. That interest has been steady. There's a couple teams, and it's sort of the teams we've talked about. And I think let's focus on the Miami Dolphins because that was the one that was rumored most in those, reports yesterday. Nothing's done. Nothing's imminent. I know the two sides have talked. This is probably the 4th time that things have heated up and everyone has sort of thought that a trade might happen. And I'm not saying a trade's not going to happen. I'm just saying I don't sense it's imminent at all. It is incredibly complicated. There's the legal, the civil, the compensation, the no trade clause. This is happening at like a snail's pace if it happens. So I saw the reports yesterday and it definitely made me go, wait, is there something I don't know? Because that happens sometimes, believe it or not. But I don't sense anything imminent right now.
Okay, so let's talk about what Howie Roseman allegedly said to somebody. This was another source that said something. Howie Roseman allegedly sent an investigator down to Houston and spoke with Deshaun's legal team and other things like that. And ultimately, in the end, Deshaun did not want to go to Philadelphia. Would that report coming out indicate that maybe off the field things are wrapping up for Deshaun? Because I still don't understand how anybody would be able to trade their franchise to get Deshaun Watson with everything happening off the field. The Howie Roseman alleged source conversation, and I forget where it was. I think we could probably find who actually broke that information. Allegedly, Howie sent an investigator down there and was still interested. What does that say, and is that real?
I can't independently corroborate that, but the Eagles are among the most sort of aggressive, I don't know how to really describe it, but among the most aggressive in investigating things. Like, I am constantly hearing stories of, hey, the Eagles sent their security team, the Eagles sent their investigator. Like, they are very, very proactive. So if that happened, that would definitely make sense. And I think a lot of the teams interested, probably all the teams interested, did the due diligence. If you are going to trade for Deshaun Watson, you would have to be extremely, extremely comfortable in the person and in his culpability and everything that happened. There are still teams interested in trading for Deshaun Watson. So I don't know what's going to happen legally, civilly. Could something get wrapped up? Obviously, it would make sense if a trade would happen for that to be wrapped up, but it's so complicated that I don't know that anything is done at all now. I just know there are teams still interested despite everything that has gone on and all the headlines off the field.
Do you know how that process works? Like, let's say a team is interested in trading for Deshaun Watson. Do they contact the league first and try to get some kind of feel on what's going to happen with him?
Yes, probably yes. And I don't know.
Is the league obligated to give him information or tell him anything?
They're not obligated, but if, I would assume it would be an owner calling Roger Goodell, like that's really who Goodell works with / works for, right? So you'd think he would be honest about it. But here's the problem. The NFL has not spoken to Deshaun Watson yet, and they're not going to until the police investigation, the criminal investigation, wraps itself up. So whatever the NFL would tell, let's say, an owner, they don't know because they haven't finished their investigation.
They sent Amy down there. Amy what was her name?
That was
Lisa Friel.
Lisa Friel.
Lisa Friel.
Yeah.
Lisa Friel. They sent somebody. Didn't the NFL send somebody down there to investigate, and then it hasn't wrapped up its investigation, so they can't give the full opinion because the investigation hasn't ended yet?
They've done several interviews with the alleged victims, and they have not talked to Deshaun, and they have not wrapped up the entire thing because the NFL, one, a lot of times, they're not going to sort of ruin or whatever a police investigation. They're going to wait till that's done and talk to Deshaun then. So it's going to, and that's one of the problems is if, there are some things that theoretically could wrap up by the time like a settlement, perhaps by the trade deadline. If that happens, and I don't know that it is, but if it happens, that would make it easier. But there's also something like there's a deposition that Deshaun is scheduled to, I believe, speak at in like February. So these things take forever.
After the season, yeah, it's insane, especially with how serious the allegations are. That's why it's crazy to think that there is teams that are still interested, and if they know anything, what do they know? How come we don't know that stuff? If you're Deshaun, you would at least think that you would want to get some of that information out if it favors him, because PR-wise, this is terrible, and it sounds like he's potentially a terrible human being, but who knows how it all ends up. Go ahead, Ty.
Rap sheet, yesterday was David Bakhtiari's first day back. I don't think anyone expects him to play this weekend, but do you think he's going to play next Thursday in Arizona? And also, there's been some rumors that Xavier Howard's getting shopped by the Dolphins. I think someone tweeted that he was moving stuff out of a storage locker today. Do you see that happening? I don't know how the Packers would make it financially work, but they've been linked to him as well.
Yeah, well, I'll start with the Packers part of it. So they had some interest in Stephon Gilmore, right? Which obviously would make sense, but they couldn't trade for him because there's too much they would have had to do for the contract to make it work. They probably would have had to extend him and then lower his cap number this year, give him a big bump next year, then you don't know what you're getting. So they were basically out on Stephon Gilmore because they couldn't make it work cap-wise. So, like, for Xavier Howard, could they make it work? I guess theoretically, because he's got a longer-term deal. Gilmore just had 1 year left, but there would have to be some salary cap and contractual gymnastics to make it happen. The Packers are and have been aggressive, so them being interested wouldn't surprise me. I just know to make it happen would be difficult. I don't know if Xavier Howard was moving things out of his storage locker, but I love these stories so much. It's like when Rodgers did the deep clean, which I believe you guys properly debunked. That was a fantastic storyline for a couple weeks.
Yeah, and the golf course, the country club. Yeah. AJ has to go to actually one of his country club events.
See you. Thanks, Ian. See you guys.
Thanks, AJ.
Go to hell.
Where's he going, you think? Ian, where do you think he's going? Is there any big-time events that you know about?
He actually left?
Yeah, he's got to go to a big-time event. He was on from 12 to 1:30 today instead of the normal 1 to 3 because he's got some big-time event to go to.
Wow. Well, I better scour social media to see what he's actually doing. You all right there?
I just turned up the volume real loud in my ears. I mean, it got real loud right there. I just blew out both of my eardrums right there. You know what I mean? That's why you take the AirPods out.
These AirPods, look, they've been through a lot with me. We've been through it, and I think I'm ready for a new pair.
Wow. Oh, we could gift you that. We could give you a pair. Go ahead, Tone.
Ian, Ronald Jones, Marlon Mack, two talented running backs rumored to be on the trade market. Any idea where they're going?
Ronald Jones is not going anywhere, which makes sense because if the Bucs were going to trade him, they wouldn't get very much for him. It'd be like a late round pick, but also like they might need him. Remember, they needed him last year when I think Fournette, it was injury or COVID, I can't remember, but Fournette was out a couple games. He played. I don't get the sense the Bucs are trading anyone. Maybe trade for a corner, but I don't think they're trading anyone. Marlon Mack could be traded. I could see that. There's some running back needy teams. I mean, the Ravens have been. The Saints lost their number 2 running back. That would, I think, make some sense. 49ers have had some running back issues, though they're getting a little healthy. That would make some sense. He's not expensive, so it's really just, are you comfortable with where he is physically a year or so after an Achilles? I know everyone says a player's 100%, but it takes 2 years to be himself. So what you'd be getting may not 100% be what he was originally, but it might be good enough.
There's sparks of greatness. They'll probably get back there. Julian Blackmon just
So bad.
Tore his Achilles after an incredible year last year. The Colts have just run into a litany of issues whenever it comes to the injury front. Get T.Y. back, lose Blackman. Who knows what's going to happen?
But Carson's playing well. I mean, he really is playing well.
Mm-hmm. You know why? Because he can't move. He can't move. He's actually not able to move because of how messed up his ankles are. So he has to just kind of sit in there. And he's unbelievable whenever he's just throwing and reacting and making plays. It's whenever he's trying to die. That is, that's whenever all hell seems to break loose. I think Carson is balling. I really like the Colts seem to be. Jonathan Taylor's a stud.
Yeah.
T.Y.'s back. Pittman Jr.'s mossing people. The defense seems to be getting the ball a little bit like they were last year. Eberflus maybe has them going. The Colts could be a team that could get going here, but 4 losses already a little bit of a difficult start. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, rap sheet. Is football Richie Bisaccia possibly going to be the long-term head coach for the Raiders? And also, is there any weight to the Hall of Fame or retirement of David Baker, or was that just kind of
what happened?
Poorly timed retirement?
All right, the Bisaccia one first. I don't think he's going to be the long-term head coach.
Oh, you don't know. How do you know? How do you know? Hey, how do you know? Football Richie might have it figured out in Vegas, pal.
I think it'd be awesome. I like him. Here, can I tell you why I like him? This is a very, very short story. I met him once on a field. I had I think when he walked up to me when I was on the phone with my wife or something like that. So he asked about my family. And I told him about my kids. I had a 6-year-old and a 6-month-old and a 2-year-old. And the next time I saw him, he remembered my kids' names.
How's your family? Yeah. That's
Of course he
Bisaccia.
did.
And now you're saying this guy's got no shot being the head coach.
Yeah. Well,
they just blew out the Broncos. Josh Jacobs coming hey, the sideline is much better with old Bisaccia out here. And you're this guy's got no shot.
It would be a cool story.
It would be a cool story. You're saying no chance? How come? Do you just think that Mark Davis will make a splash hire in the offseason or something like that?
No, I think so. I mean, there's definitely an inherent bias against the interim. And the times that it's happened, it's only worked for a little bit. There's just not, history does not speak well to the interim coaches. What was the other thing you asked about?
David Baker's retirement. That was very. Hey, listen, this is just like the Washington football team. If they had planned that Sean Taylor jersey or number retirement ceremony for a long time, and they just decided to drop it in on a Thursday before that Sunday, and then the way it all with Jackson Mahomes doing his little thing. I mean, that was terribly handled. Okay, the rollout terribly handled, the PR of it terribly handled. I think Jay Wright came out and said, listen, we'll do better for the future. The David Baker retirement happening out of nowhere, that made us all with brains go, whoa. This guy's been around a long time. But then he was at the Steelers game talking on a microphone. He was also on NFL Network the other day. So that made us think to ourselves, well, maybe not. What was that just what happened there? And who's going to be the next person, you think?
It was planned a couple months ago. I don't know. I think it happened. So if I had to guess, I think it was broken. Someone locally who I can't remember, had it on that Friday, probably earlier than they had wanted it to come out. And then they had to just announce it because it was out of race. They did it on a Saturday when I was at my son's flag football game, which was very inconvenient.
How's your family?
Every time I see Bisaccia now, that's what I'm going to think of, by the way.
How's your family?
It's your fault.
Hey, listen, you're welcome. That's what you're thinking. He genuinely cares. He'll show up at the wedding of your kid, too, probably an envelope.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'll go handle do the rounds. You know
I was thinking that scene in Goodfellas. Anyway.
That's real life.
I do not believe. I'm not lucky enough to experience that real life. But I did one time play on a travel baseball team with the grandson of Vincent the Chin Gigante.
The Chin did not. Hey, the Chin, he is not like the way we have spoke about A.J. Hawk over the years with the most powerful chin. But yeah, I mean, the Italian community does not get enough respect, conversation about, and I was very fortunate enough to grow up in a super Italian community, but I don't like that you're burying Bisaccia. You're saying the David Baker thing was planned months in advance and it's dropped out of nowhere because some local reporter got it before everybody else. So they were planning probably middle of the season and then they were just going to do back half of the season to look for a new one?
I think they were trying to let all this clear. But tell you what, though, I don't know who's going to be the head of the Hall of Fame, who knows. But whoever gets the job of knocking on the door and letting people know whether or not they get in the Hall of Fame, that's an amazing job. That has to be one of the more like high-profile jobs in the NFL. You could do that.
No, that ain't for me. I ain't knocking on any doors and making any dreams come true. That sounds like a job for Ian Rapoport.
Oh,
that should be your job. That's like your thing, isn't it? Fly around, knock on doors, situations as opposed to uncomfortable. There'll be celebrations when they see you. How about it?
Everybody hugs me like I really did something. Like I would be a shoulder to cry on.
Body disparity is way too different.
True.
Can't do it.
Yeah, shoes.
Visually.
They would have to Siciliano him into the shoes of David Baker.
Both of his feet in one shoe.
They'd pick him up. They'd pick him up and drop him into David Baker's seat. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Get a step ladder.
It's massive.
Rapoport would just be sitting there. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. He is a large dude, that guy.
He's a big man.
He's a large man. We appreciate you for stopping by, and this is one of our favorite days, especially now because we know nothing about tonight. We already put it in our same game parlay. It would have been nice if you gave us some of the information before we had our council meeting this morning, but we appreciate every time you stop by, Ian.
I wish you a lot of luck tonight, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Not luck, good fortune.
Thank you. Good fortune, good luck. All of those things are needed and appreciated, especially for this risk-free same-game parlay that's definitely going to hit tonight, plus 770-something, ladies and gentlemen. Host of the weekly wrap-up with Rap Sheet and Friends, Ian Rapoport, the Rap Sheet in Rap Sheet and Friends. Thank you. He's going to go break some news right now on his Twitter account. Everybody keep your eyes on his Twitter account. AJ Hawk is off and running. We can't thank you enough for joining this incredibly stupid show on this beautiful risk-free same-game parlay Thursday Night Football Thursday. We're going to take a break because we have to reset some shit. And, mid-show, AJ leaves. We're going to close this thing out with a bang.
Hell yeah.
Maybe the greatest sports talk we've ever had.
100%.
On the other side of this break. I can't wait for it. Plus more of your... Nah, I'm not... Yeah, phone calls.
Yeah.
1-833-4 McAfee. Give it a call.
Yeah, we'll see how they go.
Yeah, we'll see.
You already did one.
No, I loved everything Ethan was saying. You know, I love Ethan complimenting the pod. My favorite podcast. Absolutely bummed that you guys are down to one show a week, by the way. That was unbelievable, Foxy.
Can't believe.
Can't believe it.
Supersized episodes. Though,
One episode, too
Yeah,
many.
plus I know it's your favorite podcast, but Foxy was asking questions about stuff that we talked about, so I know he doesn't watch anymore, and he's a lying sack of shit.
I do watch. I
know. I'm talking about Foxy.
I'm a fan of the show.
I'm pissed off you guys went to one a week.
Yeah, so he's kind of protesting a little bit.
Oh, okay. So he's not a real fan.
He's actually holding out.
No.
He's he walked out. Foxy's done a walkout
Big
on the
time
pod.
walkout.
We don't want him.
I'm going to hold out, too, now it's one a week.
No. You're one of the hosts of the show.
Tony.
That's something you can't do. Foxy is not. But then I don't like when people say, you guys don't do enough of this or this. It's like, I honestly feel like we do. Now, granted, we do not plan anything, really. We have lists of shit to talk about. But I feel like we hit just about everything.
Yes.
We're on for 3.5 hours basically every single day. Maybe you need to change when you listen to, or maybe go check the clips. We have covered that.
There was one day where I had to get up. I had coffee. I drove over to the set. Did a half-hour show that I hosted. And then I drove over to the Fox set. Did another half-hour show where I hosted. And I had to take a nap after because that was an exhausting day.
What? What are you talking about?
You know what he's talking about.
Why are you saying this
he's
about
being an
Ocho?
asshole. He's being an asshole.
Hey, listen, you've been hanging around Gumpy too much. You guys making your little lists of who we're going to bury, and we can't appreciate it.
I wanted everybody to see how hard he's been working. That's why I sent it to the group.
Oh, see.
Okay. Can't do this.
This is a problem. We will get to the bottom of it on the other side. I want to let everybody know. Any ex-football player that goes on to have success, I am proud of. Even though the hammered Dahn scumbags and the toxic table.
Hey, don't rope us in here.
All right, we're back in 4 minutes. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Risk-free same-game parlay Thursday Night Football, Thursday, October 21st, 2021. Out of Philadelphia is one of the biggest inspirations walking around the internet. Gio, the podcast. Okay, so you're 14 years old.
Yep.
You're from Philadelphia.
Yep.
Big-time Eagles fan, podcaster. You were Carson Wentz's #1 fan.
Yeah. Yesterday, the 801 invited me, and Carson invited me to the game, and I got to go on the sideline and meet Carson again, and he gave me a football.
Let's go! Yeah! You're obviously full of energy, full of optimism, full of upbeat, good vibes.
Yeah.
What do you go through on a day-to-day?
I've had 20 surgeries in my life, so it hasn't been easy. I have a condition called SJS, short stem cell syndrome, and it's basically like muscular dystrophy with dwarfism. My elbows are dislocated, My left hip is dislocated. I had to get my right hip reconstructed. The reason I'm so optimistic is because life is too short to focus on the negativity.
Let's go! I'm sorry to hear that you have to be tougher than all of us on the day-to-day, but I am so incredibly thankful that you keep that mindset. How'd you develop love for football?
We've always been a football family, but then when I started having surgeries, I started watching football, and then I just kind of fell in love.
What does the rest of the season look like for the Indianapolis Colts, you think? Carson's going to keep himself safe out there?
Carson's going to have his best NFL season here in Indy.
Why is that?
He loves it here, and he's having fun. And when Carson Wentz is having fun, he plays his best.
Okay, and how about the Philadelphia Eagles?
I think they got a little developing to do with Jalen.
Are there any players that you'd like to get on your podcast?
Brian Dawkins.
Oh, is he your favorite Eagle of all time?
Him, Carson, and Zach Ertz are my top three.
Oh, Zach
sorry.
Ertz.
Damn,
last week.
so sorry.
Yeah.
Why's everybody getting traded out that you like? What's the deal?
I don't know.
You're really, really good at this. What's the name of the podcast?
Philly Sports with Giovanni.
One last message to somebody out there who maybe doesn't view life the right way, you think?
I'd just say find your happiness and find the thing that inspires you, like I found football, and just try to look on the optimistic side.
Hey, you absolutely crush it every single day. You crushed it in here. We appreciate you. We hope you loved Indianapolis, Indiana. Come back whenever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, Gio the podcaster. Let's get a little lightning in the stick there. Baseball's happening.
EP did not tell you to go, Tony. You do not go until the EP Mitt says so.
He said
you know that.
He said
that's fucking Will Ferrell in Blaze of Glory.
Yeah.
I've never seen
Chaz Michael Michaels.
Chaz Michaels, thank you.
Either that or he hit like a tree branch.
You know what? Gumps, it was funny because that was the same time. So that was we're not going with Gumps.
No, I love it. It's like, hey, this is how I know you're the ultimate hockey guy.
That's good.
That's already not a nickname.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know.
Drop it and change it.
It's always at an ER, and I thought Gumper sounded pretty lame, so I went with Gumps.
Every day is game day for these guys. It's showtime on the Pat McAfee Show.
There is no better feeling than breaking free and going untouched into the end zone.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
That's why Fluidmaster, the world's #1 toilet repair brand, is awarding the NFL player who has the best untouched touchdown each week. The Week 6 winner of a Soft Spa 9,500 bidet, as decided by thousands of voters, was Aaron Rodgers' butthole. Yeah, he won the bidet because he scampered in there, got touched late. Obviously, we led to the big belt, the whole thing. An absolutely incredible touchdown by the reigning, defending, undisputed MVP of the NFL. This week's fans winner, somebody that tweeted after seeing the poll that Bruce Brown had on his Twitter, #PMS Untouched, Aaron Rodgers. Randomly selected out of somebody that tweeted that was Dan Staley.
Staley Deuce's brother?
No, Dan, Brandon's.
Danny.
Oh, okay, Brandon.
Danny boy.
Yeah, I believe he's related to
Dan.
Brandon Staley. Yeah, Dan's at Uncle Dan09. Old Uncle Dan.
Big Uncle.
Congratulations, Dan, on winning a new Soft Spa $9,500 and $200 that you will need to get that thing placed on your toilet. Now, you and Aaron have the same butthole luxuries.
Not bad.
Go.
You get to crown the next winner next Tuesday night on Bruce's Twitter poll, and then congratulate them by tweeting them their name at #PMS Untouched for a chance to win your own Soft Spa 9,500 bidet. Also, enter code PAT4930 for $49.30 off your Soft Spa 9,500 bidet at checkout at shop.fluidmaster.com if you do not win like old Uncle Dan did.
And if not next week, you will.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know. We don't know how many more weeks this thing's going.
Yeah. True.
All right.
No, I hear you.
We're reading a lot about Fluidmaster. I appreciate the hell out of Fluidmaster wanting to get into the game.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how many people are tweeting hashtag PMS Untouched each week. More people should get involved, obviously, but I don't know if this is going to be every single week. I hope it is.
Yeah, me too. I'm waiting for Bruce to fucking pick me. I'm trying to get one of these goddamn bidets.
Yeah, did you put 1 or 2 A's in Aaron when he tweeted?
Don't think I actually did, hashtag PMS Untouched CD Lamb. Just because I saw it, I was like, I might as well try and win.
Well, you didn't have to do that, though, because you could have just looked at the poll and then tweeted immediately afterwards, Aaron got like 55% of the vote when it was a 4-person vote. That's that's a win in a landslide.
Yeah, but I'm honorable. I don't want to, do every single one. I want to pick my horse, and I want that horse to go.
Speaking of honorable, I believe Zelina Vega just won the first ever Queen's Crown tournament.
Wow. Massive upset.
Queen of the WWE. Did not expect that. Zelina just beat Dewdrop. Congratulations.
How?
She beat Dewdrop, yeah.
Yeah, how was that happen?
Hey, Zelina's quick in there. She's fast in there. She's cerebral in there. She's the queen, pal, and she will be treated as such. Dewdrop was that close to the crown.
I know.
I thought she had it.
A couple different times.
Love you, Dewdrop.
Love you, Dewdrop.
All right, bring in that sidebar. Let's be a sports show here. Yeah, hey,
there
let's
we go.
That's a real thing. We've covered most of these things, but those of you who are potentially joining us late would love to hit them in a quick, beautiful fashion. Broncos versus Browns tonight. The Browns are down to -1. It was 3.5, then 3, then 2.5, then 2, now 1. Case Keenum in. Jarvis Landry in. Jack Conklin at. Odell Beckham Jr. at. Chubb at. Hunt at. Baker in next week.
Okay.
Not tonight, though. What will that mean for the Broncos and the Browns as Thursday Night Football in our risk-free same-game parlay that is currently sitting at plus 770-something. $10 to win 77. We do not know who's going to win in our same-game parlay because we do not know who's going to win this game. This is an absolute toss-up. And although it is getting dumped on and grumpied on and shit on for being a game that maybe we can't get excited about, I believe this is going to turn into a real one. This is going to be a great riveting matchup where we will follow along with our same game parlay at the edge of our seats wondering, oh my God, we're about to take millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah. Seems like the first Thursday night game we've had, too, where it really, most of these other ones, it's been like, okay, this team's better, they're going to win. This is really the first one where it's been like a legitimate toss-up. No one knows who's going to win this game.
Both teams really good early. Right now, Browns got nobody. They just got the asses beat. Broncos, they were hot. They got cold. They just got their asses beat. Bounce back games on a short week to get the bad taste out of your mouth is what every team would want after an ass beating. But if you're the Browns, you got nobody. Broncos staring down a long weekend,
Oh, yeah.
Von Miller saying, I don't know who I'm playing against. I'm going to kill him, though. I mean, there's a chance that the Broncos really go in there and do some real damage. Maybe. And we're banking on it. We think Cortland Finnegan's going to do well. We think Tim Patrick's going to do well. We think Case Keenum's also going to do well. But we just have a feeling that maybe both offenses are going to be better than what people think they're going to be going in.
Yeah. Teddy a little banged up too, and it's like if his quad doesn't go, as planned, maybe Drew Lock even comes in.
This is a Drew Lock dream game.
Yeah,
exactly. Primetime game, no expectations on him. He's not the starter. He gets to come in, sling the ball around a little bit, have a good time. Hey, call that bitch a bodyguard.
Yeah, that's my bodyguard.
Yeah, he's going nuts out there.
Yeah.
That could turn into, that is what Thursday Night Football with massive question marks everywhere could be tonight, Tunde.
Yeah, if you pick a side, you're psycho.
Psycho. We have no idea what's going to happen. There's not going to be rain, allegedly. The meteorologists have told us in Cleveland that the rain will stop around 6:30, maybe latest at 7. So that means kickoff, there'll be no rain. It will be breezy, though, over there in Cleveland.
That's right.
Post-rain, pre-rain, always breeze.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that is weather in a nutshell. It has to come and go somehow. So it is going to be a little bit breezy coming off the lake. Will that affect the offenses? Will they be ground and pounding a little bit more? Will we miss out on the rushing attack of the Cleveland Browns that we did initially have on the same game parlay? I think there's a lot of intriguing storylines looking into tonight.
Yeah, I think what we did was right. I mean, we stayed away from the touchdowns because you don't know who the fuck's going to get in the end zone. We stayed away from the total. We stayed away from a side. We said, hey, these last few games, these guys have definitely gone over what their over-under is tonight. We played it smart.
I think we're really smart. I just, some green tea just went down the wrong pipe.
That's the worst.
Went down so that went down the eating pipe or the breathing pipe?
Probably breathing pipe.
That went down the breathing pipe.
Yeah, can't breathe
So
out.
there's the drinking pipe, there's the food pipe, then there's the breathing pipe. And once you get the drinking pipe intermixed with the breathing pipe, then you start, starts happening.
Exactly.
Good luck.
Big time issues.
I think the drinking and eating are one and the same.
No. Because sometimes when I eat something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of
Well,
those
and
things.
if you get clogged up, you drink some water because it flushes out the eating pipe and the drinking pipe.
No, yeah, that has to go through the clog to get to the drinking pipe.
Right.
Yeah, this is anatomy.
That's right.
Anatomy.
Physiology.
Gray.
Study of
Great.
the body.
Mhm.
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Oh.
That show is still on.
Yeah, you still watching?
I never watched, but I
Oh.
do know there's a lot of Greys that do a lot of weird stuff.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of shades of this one guy that has a peacock feather on the edge of a thing, a whip thing, and he does his own stuff in his weird thing.
Yeah, he's a sick bastard.
Well, then there's his anatomy, too. He has a lot of anatomy as well, and his whole bunch of doctors and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Let's move on.
50 Shades, that's what.
Yeah.
You watch that movie?
No, I actually haven't.
I did.
How was it?
I watched
I did watch Magic.
the first one. I haven't watched all of them. I haven't seen that, but a couple big time pops out of me during 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah, just, as a human that isn't very similar to that type of human, I found it very hilarious that this potentially is roaming around amongst us
I'm
currently. So that was a couple big hilarious things because there was some music that was setting it up to be a super scary moment. And then literally it was a peacock feather at the edge of a thing. I'm like, all right, how does anybody take this serious? Like imagine, I mean, I guess we couldn't at this particular time. We're not what old Mr. Gray's into, but imagine somebody walking in with that fucking thing and just, how would you not start laughing in their face? That was my entire issue. I'm not mature enough for that particular.
Well, yeah, it turns out that gets people real horned up, and I think that's the people who are going and watching that movie.
Hey, shout out to Biz, by the way, dropping a real horned up on Turner last night covering hockey.
It has a very similar feel to the NBA pregame show. It's got a good vibe. Like Biz
Not
is kind
50 Shades of Grey. You're talking about the TNT hockey
TNT.
night.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like Biz
It is very good.
Biz is kind of in the Charles Barkley role, and he does it very well.
They actually put him in the exact seat.
Yes, yeah. Exact
Last week he was sitting directly next to Wayne.
Wayne-o.
Him and Wayne were having incredible interactions. They moved him actually to Charles Barkley's seat almost at the end there. That's going to be good for hockey, I think.
It's great. It's nice to have something that actually showcases people's personalities and let them be a little loose and not just talk about strictly what's happening on the ice.
Yeah, happy for Biz, by the way. Internet
good.
guy.
Yeah.
Internet guy has absolutely crushed it. And shout out to hockey, getting a lot of pub on ESPN and on Turner and all that. Penguins still number one in the league?
Yeah.
No.
Although,
be honest,
today, Big Jeff Carter and Tristan Jarry have been diagnosed with COVID.
Oh, my God.
What's your team doing out there, huh?
Tristan Jarry stops everything.
Yeah, he does.
He probably saved COVID from going to the rest of his teammates, you fucking asshole.
Well, and how did Carter? How did Jeffy Carter get it then?
Well, it was a deflection.
Carter likes to have a good time.
One-timer.
Yeah.
Carter likes to have a good time. He doesn't like to win hockey games. I see stuff changing in
No,
Pittsburgh.
Carter eats pucks, dude.
Don't get us started on the Bruins, dude.
These Bruins are top of the league. We were one of the
No, we're
last
top of the
undefeated
league.
teams.
We actually are top of the league.
No, we're top of the league.
We don't even
You're
have any
not.
of our players. You're not. You're bottom of the league.
No,
It's like
we're
the
not.
Red Sox going down to Houston.
Oh, well, the Red Sox won the Final Four
Oh, did
teams,
the
all right?
Patriots lose?
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Did the Bruins lose?
Oh, yeah.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
Did the Red Sox lose?
They
Yeah,
did.
they
Oh,
Don't forget
no.
the Celtics.
Celtics lost too.
Oh, basketball's happening. I forgot
Yeah.
Equinox.
Yeah, double overtime. But you know what that means? We're on the rise.
No,
Can't get
Boston
lower
is
than here.
Detroit now. This is not good for you.
Detroit. We're talking about one of the Final Four teams in baseball. We're talking about a team who almost went to the Stanley Cup last year. We're talking about a team who's primed for a playoff run in the NBA. Don't you tell me, Fox, your dumpy, stupid, smelly, terrible city is nothing like Boston, pal. You clown.
You're a clown.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to George in Virginia. What's going on, George?
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Not
Shout
too-
out to you and the boys.
Oh, shout out to you too, man.
Shot.
Shut up.
So I was looking at the news this morning, and T.Y. restructured his contract, and Marlon Mack's already been kind of on the trade block. Are the Colts going to get a corner or maybe a safety to help that goddamn secondary?
Gonna
It's been
need-
looking like trash. for a
Well,
little
thank
bit.
you. That's a great question, George, and I appreciate it. They're going to need money because they just lost Blackman. They're gonna try to trade Marlon Mack, which will save them $555,000. I think the numbers have come out. Marlon Mack, Colts restructured wide receiver T.Y. Hilton's contract to create $2.3 million in cap space. What they just moved that to a signing bonus? I thought it was a 1-year deal. How do you How do you restructure a one-year deal? So I do like that Chris Ballard is making some salary cap gymnasty happen here so that they can move some space and make some dollars. Everybody that we've seen do it, whether it's Greenberg down there in Tampa Bay with what they've been able to do with the Buccaneers or with the Chiefs or even with the Rams, is they do long-term contracts that they can kind of kick the bucket down the road. I don't necessarily know how they freed up $2.3 million with the restructuring of the contract unless you just moved to a signing bonus and then they had to void some things on the back. I don't know. We'll find that out later. You can only do it with players you trust. They love T.Y. Hilton, obviously. He's back in there. Hopefully this team can take the next step, but losing Blackman's a bad ordeal for the Indianapolis
Caused fumbles the last 2 weeks. Actually, one was down, but
he flies around. He flies around. He's awesome to chit-chat about. Safety Julian Blackman tore his Achilles in practice yesterday. That was probably a non-contact. I can already set the tone of the whole practice as soon as they see that. A lot of
Yeah, maybe if Hard Knocks should get the hell out of town, maybe the Colts would be able to turn it around.
Great call by George in Virginia, and also you, Connor. Maybe it is the Hard Knocks curse taking over the regular season for the first time they've ever done it. Bill Goldberg is making his way into Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, crown jewel. There's thumbs down. There's thumbs up. I think Bill's still over, maybe. Him and Bobby Lashley are about to go at it over there. I think it's 200 degrees over here.
It looks like
at
it.
least.
All right, hour 3 is on the other side. More phone calls, more chit-chat about the sports. We covered the Watson situation. We'll do that. Jimmy G's calf, Josh Jacobs, Patty Mahomes, the Packers, DK Metcalf, D-Hop, the Lions stink. So much more in hour 3. We'll see you in 6. We regret to inform you that in the real world, the one that we're living in right now, this is an actual news clip about what's potentially going on amongst the fans in Kansas City. As the Chiefs seem to refine their identity, it seems like the fans are crumbling into pieces. This is, once again, an actual news piece on Fox 4 in Kansas City.
Well, if you spend any time around here on game day, you're likely to be aware of at least one of these men. The man known as the X Factor has been around for decades. He's the one seen in the video getting knocked down by another man who the people of Section 129 may know as Red Extreme.
There's X Factor. Here it is.
This is about 6 years ago, meeting and whooping it up with young Chiefs fans. And this is X Factor today.
Oh, no. What?
Only recognizable by his foam hat.
What?
The Broncos colors from the hospital. They kicked me out of Arrowhead. First time ever X Factor's been kicked out.
Third person.
We don't have permission to show the video of the X Factor falling after an apparent punch, but it has nearly 1 million views on Twitter. The X Factor explains what happened from his perspective and who is involved.
He's my old apprentice. I actually made him famous. Gave him the name Red Extreme. I saw him come run up the stairs at me, and he had that look, I'm going to kill you. And so I tried to grab his jersey to stop him and talk to him, and he, like the movie Friday, he deboed me one punch, and I saw stars. They took me to triage at Arrowhead, checked me out. I felt all right at the time, but then I didn't know I'd broke my ribs.
Red Extreme posted a 17-minute video message to his Facebook page following the incident. He says, "A cup of water was thrown and hit my wife in the back and splashed onto me."
Can't do that.
He continues, "I have never in my life felt so bad about feeling so good because knocking that low-life son of a expletive out was the greatest feeling I've had in a long time. My problem is it happened inside the stadium, and I never imagined in my life I would behave in that manner in the stadium." He also accuses the X Factor of being inebriated.
It says that I'm a meth addict, which I'm a cocaine addict and alcoholic. I've been clean for 4 years.
Okay.
He
Much
said
different.
I threw a water
Congrats,
bottle
by
at
the
him,
way.
which I didn't. And I flipped my car a week ago Tuesday. So it's been a wild week.
What?
Wait. This makes me stronger. Jesus was persecuted. Of course. I'll come back fighting.
Is looking to press charges at this point, but throughout the day we did try to connect directly with Red Extreme, but were turned down. However, immediately before our broadcast we spoke by phone, and he stressed that anything that the X Factor says should be taken with a big dose of skepticism, and that he himself actually stepped away from the superfan community because of his distrust and distaste of X Factor's behavior.
Wow.
All right, Jacob Kittle.
Thank you, Jacob Kittlestad.
Thank you, Jacob.
I have a surprise, obviously. That's what this show is all about. We have boots on the ground in Cleveland, who I assume knew this was going to happen all along. Ladies and gentlemen, live from Cleveland, Mr. Jason Glazer. Your thoughts on Kyle Pitts to Atlanta, fine sir? Oh, there's a delay.
Well, first and foremost, Pat, I'd like to say, hey, listen, thanks for having me. Cleveland is beautiful this time of year. Granted, it does smell like a mixture of poop and diarrhea and sewage.
Jesus.
It doesn't smell great down here.
Jesus.
But I'll tell you what, 27 years in this thing, I fucking live for the draft. Love being down here. Love being into Cleveland. But yeah, Kyle Pitts, listen. What do you want me to say? I knew this 2 weeks ago. Really? I mean, do we need to do this whole fucking song and dance?
Okay.
I'll give you guys 1 through 32 if you want to know. You know, do you want to have fun?
That's nice.
You want to not know who's going? But yeah, I had this 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm wondering is if the guy you had in your studio, Mad Mel Kiper, I know that sorry son of a bitch didn't have this 2 weeks ago.
Mike's not plugged in.
Whoa. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I actually just explained it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
No,
I
you
did.
didn't. No, you
Yes, I
didn't.
did.
No,
I
you
had
didn't.
this.
I did.
Yeah,
I
no,
did.
no, you
I
didn't.
did. You
I
didn't.
had this.
I
I
did.
had
You
it.
didn't.
Trust me. Can
You
I
didn't.
talk for Christ's sake?
Okay, fine, yeah.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
talk? Okay,
Go ahead.
yeah. Like I said, Kyle Pitts,
No, you didn't.
unbelievable talent.
No, you didn't. You didn't fucking have
Yes, I did.
it. You're a sad sack of shit,
Jason.
Kiper. I know it. I looked at your mock draft.
Jason, please relax. Oh my God. Had no idea it was going to get like that. Sorry about that, Mad Mel. Obviously, there's a little bit of content there. He's saying you don't know your ass from a fucking hole in the ground, though, Mad Mel. How do you feel about that from Jason Glazer live in Cleveland?
Well, classic move. You know, Glazer looks like he's getting ready to go to a goddamn titty bar or something like that. I mean, dress up, pal. It's the NFL draft. Look at me. I'm dressed to the nines. You know, you look like an asshole. I mean, just get him out of here, can we? I mean, is he going to stick around? Can we get him the hell out of here?
I think is his microphone still on? Jay, can you hear us? Jay, is everything good back there?
Listen, fuck you guys. I'm out of here. I'm going over to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm going to hang out with Dee Snider and Twisted Sister.
Are you serious? Okay, Jason, sorry. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, Jason Glazer.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show, hour 3 on this risk-free same game parlay. Thursday night football, Thursday, October 21st, 2021, years after the year 0 will begin right now. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop. Shout out to you for listening or watching wherever the hell you may be. We have covered everything today on this particular sports show, and we got 1 hour left to recap, reimagine, regenerate a little bit of energy on storylines that have been tired and told, but we have to talk about it because the current state of the sports world is insane. We have everything from MVP conversations happening to potential 3-team trade talks happening on the internet, in which everybody with any source of information outside of Houston on the information or on the situation is saying this ain't gonna happen. But everything's heating up here on this beautiful Thursday night. To talk to the table at Boston Connor and Ty Schmidt are here. What are you guys most looking forward to the weekend? Ty, we got some throwback uniforms on the Packers. 1950 something Packers uniform, yellow helmet, green unis. The Packers are riding quite a wave of dominance as of late. Bakhtiari might be back. You got to be feeling great about everything, Ty.
Yeah, absolutely love the unis. They are very clean. It does feel, I don't want to say it's a trap game because I think we've talked about how like that kind of just doesn't happen. You can get beat anytime. But, you know, I mean, next Thursday is the game that everyone's kind of got circled. It'll be that's a measuring stick game for the Packers. Washington isn't as good as we thought they were going to be going into this year, so I'm not necessarily worried. But, I mean, I'm looking at next Thursday already. It's tough.
Well, Packers Cards is next Thursday.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for that game as well because it might be much easier to put together a risk-free same-game parlay for
sure.
two teams that we know a lot more about. Let's hope and pray and tease and pease that everybody will be healthy next Thursday, obviously, for that primetime matchup that will be absolutely glorious to watch. Tonight, nothing to sneeze at either, obviously, but both teams want to have a win going into that Thursday.
Right.
And nobody wants to let off the gas pedal. Everybody wants to proclaim dominance of the NFC. I mean, right now the Cardinals are slowing down for nobody. It seems like the Packers, ever since that first game loss to the Saints, they've been feeling the exact same way. That is a meeting of colossal teams whenever it's all said and done. But this weekend wearing the new uni is pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely love them. I can't remember the last time, and I don't know if they probably have worn these before, but maybe not. I can't. Usually they do the Acme Packers one where it's like the navy jersey, the brown helmet. Kind of looks like shit. These are very clean.
Oh, you don't like the? I don't think those other ones look like shit at all.
Yeah, I don't like those.
It feels like I'm listening to Steve Sable talk on NFL films. Not Steve Sable Jr., Steve Sable Sr. breaking down NFL films from the frozen tundra, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Well, when I see these, that's what I feel like Vince Lombardi's on the sideline saying, what the hell's going on out here?
Smoking a cig.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh,
So
that'd be nice. His mic'd ups are awesome.
Oh, yeah. Legend. Absolute legend.
He would hate everything going on in the modern world that we're in right now. I mean, welcome to the modern world, Lombardi, but he was electrifying. That's why I think Aaron has such great respect for the Green Bay Packers because of the history. Whenever he talked about that Bears-Packers rivalry, how's it been going back 100 years plus at this point? The Packers, it's different, you know? And I do believe there's potentially some change happening for an old dog like the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Whitney Merciless, they signed him. They're talking about Xavier Howard. We'll see. I think that for all that we've said about, the front office and them not doing anything or whatever you want to say, like, they clearly are committed now to, like, hey, this is our window. We got Rodgers here. We might as well go for broke. Whitney Merciless, they said he turned down more money elsewhere to come play with the Packers, so it seems like, some guys kind of do realize, like, hey, this could be a place where, if they're about to load up, they're really going to go for broke this year.
Yeah, and Aaron said this, like, hey, I don't want to knock Green Bay because I love Green Bay.
Right.
He loves Green Bay. He loves the fans. He said, but whenever you're talking about other teams that are potentially racking up veterans, there's a lot more desirable destinations than potentially Green Bay, Wisconsin. He said, people are coming here to play on this team with me. This is what, and I've never been asked to even help. Now, obviously, Randall Cobb, Whitney Merciless, maybe that. And also Aaron saying that the energetically, okay, which is a huge thing for Aaron.
Yeah.
Him saying walking off the field, I will say this. I thought it was going to feel something walking off the field for the Bears, walking off the field to end the rivalry. He didn't word it as if, I might play with another team here or whatever,
right.
He worded it as, it didn't feel like the last time I was going to be playing in that rivalry game in Chicago. Energetically, which means like universe. Like he said he thought the world would tell him how he feels. So maybe that is a sign that the relationship between front office with Whitney Mercer, and we have not asked Aaron about this.
No.
On air, off air, none of that we have not asked. But just from the outside looking in, this is not something that the Packers would have normally done, right?
No, definitely not. And I think, like you mentioned, with us getting to talk to him and knowing like kind of how he thinks a little bit and where his head's at, like I don't think that was just like a throwaway bullshit line. I think if you're a Packer fan, like you have to feel much better about the chances that he is going to be around after this year than you did, 4 months ago.
And when he's making plays, you got to think to yourself, I hope this guy doesn't leave. Even the people in the Packers fans that might have turned against him because they were reading emails from Mark Murphy that were making him the bad guy in the entire situation. I think after that press conference, the way he's played, the things he's been saying, the way teammates have reacted around him, it feels like it's good news for the Green Bay Packers.
It does. And he just mentioned yesterday in a press conference with the local media that he was like, this team kind of feels like the 2010 team, where a bunch of guys keep getting injured, but we just kept finding a way to win and hit our groove late in the season. 2010 was obviously when they won the Super Bowl. So he feels pretty good about where the team's at right now. So do I. I'm very excited for this weekend.
How'd they win 5 games without him there in the offseason so far, out of 6? How'd they win 5 out of 6 with him? I thought they were going to stink because he didn't go to OTAs.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's weird.
I thought the locker room
missing the playoffs.
The locker room wasn't going to let him back in. Right?
No. Devontae was actually going to stand in front and be like, hey, dude, sorry, you can't play with us this year.
His team knows that he's not in for a long haul, so they're not going to try hard for him.
No passion, doesn't give a shit on game days.
Do you remember that shit being said?
Oh, yeah. And we knew how loud it would be. And same deal. Like if they either have a hiccup this week or if they get the doors blown off in Arizona, it's all going to come back the following week. That's just kind of the way it works with the cycle. But you know what?
You feel good as a Packers fan.
I do. I feel
much
very
better
good.
now. That energetically or however he described, I forget what word it was. That's like everything there.
Oh yeah.
Like if you've gotten a chance to listen to him or read any of the books from the book club, it's like the universe is telling you things and you just got to listen. You got to be able to free yourself and be present enough to listen to what the universe is trying to tell you. If I know anything about the books that were chosen. Now, have I read any of these books? Of course.
All of them.
I haven't read through every page of everything, but I think the universe telling him that this didn't feel like the last time I think that's the most important line of this entire thing. And there's a lot of people saying, well, yeah, he's saying he's potentially with another team or blah, blah, blah. It was like, no, that's a big deal to Aaron, I think.
Well, and I also think that like the can of worms is already open. Like if he really was still really pissed off with the front office, like I don't think he would pull any punches. I think he would say what's on his mind. Like obviously he doesn't want to create a big schism in the locker room or anything like that, but we've seen like he's open. He'll tell us how he's feeling. I mean, whether it's on this show or with the media after the games, like he'll come out and say what's going on.
Speaking of, we'd like to let everybody know we're friends with Tim Hasselbeck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tim Hasselbeck on Get Up. You know, good to know. Hilarious.
I wasn't sure. He's a mask guy. Hey, look, I love him, but I wasn't sure.
No, him saying that, we're a menace on Get Up, I think that was all supposed to be in jest in Friends. And then I retweeted it with the whoa, 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 not with a burial. And then I appreciate everybody that follows this show telling them to go fuck themselves, which, by the way, I'm all about people telling people to go fuck themselves if they deserve it or whatever. But I think Tim Greeny and I think that we have some
friend of the program.
Friends over there.
Yeah.
They're just talking about how if you're a Packer front office member, you have to hold your breath, I'd assume, every Tuesday that Aaron comes on here.
Yeah.
Legit.
Oh, yeah.
Because Aaron it's not just with us, by the way. That press conference, he did 35 minutes, 40 minutes the first time he came back and talked. He is a deep thinker. There's reasons he feels the way he feels. He feels justified in why he feels the way he feels. And he's okay letting you know, hey, this is why I feel the way I feel. And ultimately, normally whenever you understand why somebody is coming from a perspective that they're coming from, you're like, oh, that makes a lot more sense now whenever we hear it, as opposed to never hearing his side for a long time. That Boston Corner, Red Sox going to lose down to Houston. That thing's over. Final Four, though, hell of a run for the Red Sox.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to lose. And yeah, the Red Sox were projected to have like 75 wins. They ended up having, 98, and here we are in the ALCS. No big deal.
All right, too much baseball there. Mac Jones, your quarterback for the future?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great hearing Rap Sheet say, there's not many quarterbacks in this next draft. Who knows what it's going to be? It really seems like until Arch Manning is, coming into the NFL, there's not much to work with.
And I joked to Rapoport, Goldberg just speared Bobby Lashley off a 45-foot platform.
Holy shit. That's not good.
Dead.
The Almighty?
The Almighty took an almighty fall.
Yeah.
My God.
I mean, he got speared by Bill Goldberg off a stage. It might have been 700 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute insanity. It was hard because we were in the middle of such a good conversation. But whenever you see Bill Goldberg spear the largest human walking this earth, Bobby Lashley, 40 feet, it's hard not to get distracted.
Gotta address it.
Yeah.
The quarterback's in a new draft class. Who cares?
Yeah.
You got to look at the vets who are probably going to be free agents. Have we even looked at the quarterback market that could be free agent? Because I threw out there, Aaron's going to be a member of the Cleveland Browns. And it's like, that is obviously at this point, we feel like probably not going to happen there. But who knows how this whole thing unfolds, especially if there's potentially one or two plays that decide from them going to the Super Bowl or losing again. So, I mean, it's like this could have been fixed. Like, this is a situation we could have had a long time ago. It feels like they're getting that right. There will be some veteran quarterback that'll be on the market that everybody's going to be like, holy shit, how is this guy a free agent? That just has been the NFL recently.
I also saw this morning, I think Daniel Jeremiah tweeted it, that a guy, he was like, Mitch Trubisky is probably going to get another starting opportunity next year. You look at the way Chicago's offense is this year, like, he's under Josh Allen and Dable. He might, like, there's a good chance with how few actual guys are out there.
So all these guys stink coming out this year in the NFL or in the college?
Rattler was supposed to be the number one overall pick.
They're not.
That's what's kind of bullshit, though. Like,
Right.
who knows if someone gets drafted in the second and third round that they thought was just like on paper, just some guy, and he turns out to be unbelievable.
So that could always happen. Obviously, you have the Russes and the Toms and the Tonys and the Daks and there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of success stories. I mean, Aaron even dropped after being the number one overall. He fell. But I think in a lot of those years, the reason why they're in the third, fourth round or whatever is because there's other quarterbacks that are being. I think this particular time, a lot of scouts are like, there is really nobody up at the top end of this thing. Spencer Rattler, I don't know if anybody would
invest a top 5 pick in that guy.
No way.
I'm not 100% sure. Just because I don't know anything about him. I've never met him. I've never talked to him. But anytime you mention his name to anybody that has any knowledge of him, they're basically like, he ain't ready to do any. That guy needs to change a lot upstairs before he becomes a guy anywhere, let alone the NFL. How about Oklahoma? He's got a lot that he has to change.
Yeah, weren't they already reporting that he was like, instead of transferring, he was going to go to like
train
Arizona?
to become a top 5 pick or whatever.
Just get ready for the NFL. Yeah.
So he didn't hit the portal.
I don't think so.
No.
Hey, how about DJ Uiagalelei being a part of that Dr. Pepper transfer portal commercial?
Yeah.
Good for him. They kind of stink, right? Clemson, they kind of stink.
Their offense stinks, yeah.
How come?
Their offense is terrible.
So there really is Alabama. Bryce, he's too young. He can't come out, right?
No. It's Malik Willis, the quarterback who Liberty is.
Desmond Ridder. What about Desmond Ridder? What?
Accuracy.
Oh, he can't throw a ball?
I mean, he could throw a ball. He throws a great deep ball, but like intermediate routes, accurate. Malik Willis is the guy from Liberty who's number 1. Corral's number 2.
Liberty has the number 1 overall quarterback?
He originally was at Auburn, I believe, and then transferred to Liberty, and he's been dominant there. And then Corral, and then a guy named Carson Strong from Nevada.
Congrats to like Baker and them though.
What's his name?
He's coming up on a contract year, and they're
Yeah.
like that is a massive ordeal. We had to get rid of Peyton because Andrew Luck was sitting there, and we had Andrew Luck potentially waiting, and it would be irresponsible if you didn't draft Andrew Luck, who's supposed to be the next Peyton Manning, the next John Elway, and you didn't know what was going to happen with Peyton because you had a certain amount of money you had to give him. He also had that neck thing, and it was in the middle of the lock. It was just there was a lot going on there for Baker and these other guys who are in contract years. I think this is good news for them that everybody stinks in college. Is it the style of play or is it the quarterback itself? Is this a future problem that's going to happen?
It's definitely a little bit of style of play because you worry about them actually making reads and stuff in the NFL. But there's also just like that. Every so often, there's that surefire guy who like you think can't miss. I don't think there's any can't miss guys in.
So obviously, Ian Rapoport saying that Baker Mayfield's like number 8 or number 9 guy in the NFL. Where I immediately told him, "Well, we're not going to get into this, but the internet will let you know how you feel." And I think Rapoport actually said, "Oh, great," is what he said. It has happened on the internet.
Figured.
And whenever you start looking at that AFC North quarterback, I mean, Lamar Jackson seems to only be getting better.
Yep.
Joey Burrow's got his guy in Jamar Chase, and they're building it. Now, what will happen at the end of the year,
when it's cold.
That's a thing.
Mm-hmm. They play this weekend.
Who?
Joey and Lamar.
Big one.
That's what the AFC North is staring down for the next 20 years.
It's hot in the kitchen.
It is hot in the kitchen, the AFC North. That's what Mike Tomlin said. We're always going to be good. That's why it's interesting to see what the Pittsburgh Steelers do, who have always been a prominent team in the AFC North. How's that going to go as other teams seem to be building and sprucing up around them and continue to outgrow? But Baker Mayfield, if you get rid of Baker but you keep that whole roster, do you still keep that whole roster? Can you drop anybody in that roster with how their offensive line has been built if they're healthy, with the 2 running backs, with the weapons you have? I just think it's going to be hard for them to get rid of a guy who won when nobody else was able to win. Even though you look around the AFC North, it's like they seem to be younger, better, faster. How we doing?
I was looking at who's going to be a free agent and who could drop in. Like there's Mariota, Trubisky, Jameis might be a free agent, Tyrod might be a free agent, but other than that, there's really nothing else.
So Aaron, maybe.
Yeah, that's why tonight's awesome.
Oh, Nathan Peterman.
You're going to find out tonight if you can drop anyone in. Like, if Case Keenum goes in and balls out, you got to have the thought, like, oh, Mitch Trubisky would throw for 5,000 yards.
Well, what are you saying about Case Keenum? You're saying Case Keenum, terrible football player.
No, I'm saying he's a backup,
What
and he's
about the
pretty
Minneapolis
old.
Miracle, dude?
Absolutely. That was an unbelievable play, and then they got blown out by the Eagles the next week. Let's not forget that.
Well, it's hard to come back after the entire internet shuts down after a completion. Stephon Diggs and a missed tackle against the Saints out of nowhere that ends up with Thomas Morstead, the punter, lining up in a 4-point stance for the extra point that had to happen after the game. But Case Keenum could go in there and ball tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll get very, very, very loud.
But in his defense, there's also a lot of people out surrounding him. So are we going to get a real Case Keenum? Knowing
full game.
Well, that's why we didn't pick anybody.
Yeah.
Well, and it's very interesting to hear Odell really, really, really
Sure
wants to
does.
play tonight because Baker's not. I'm not saying that he's just.
Hey, what are you stirring that shit for? No, he really wants to play because he's a competitor. Baker really wants to play too. Remember, they had to tell him, "Nah, you can't play.
Can't do it.
You maybe." We'll see how that whole thing goes. And I think there was a chance that he was not going to be in the game after the tackle. They had his helmet was off, which he is incredible at the helmet pop off.
Yeah.
Odell's incredible at the helmet pop off, which is smart, by the way, brand wise. take the helmet off, let that thing eat. A lot of guys have taken advantage of that. They were going to his shoulder, though. It looked bad. It looked bad in the middle of the game. Then he came out and had like 5-6 receptions immediately after that. I think Odell's much tougher than people give him credit for, but this might be the team telling, hey, you can't. I don't know if it's him just saying, no, let me get Case Keenum throwing me the football because Baker can't, like you just suggested earlier.
I was just, trying reading the signs, seeing what they say, and also Jarvis being out there definitely helps him, so that's probably why he also wants to get back out.
Yeah, him and Jarvis haven't been on the same field at the same time in some time. Let's go ahead and talk about Patrick Mahomes getting laughed at by his teammates. What? X Factor and Red Extreme in the Chiefs' kingdom, throwing punches, throwing hands, throwing lawsuits at each other. Is the Kansas City Chiefs locker room this against Patrick Mahomes already? Is it because he got paid $500 million to play quarterback? Is it because he threw a pick that was one of the worst plays in the history of football this past week? Why is Patrick Mahomes being laughed at by his teammates?
He's got 8 interceptions this year, Pat. He only had 6 last year. His teammates aren't happy with him right now.
Oh, they're laughing at him because of how ridiculous it was what he attempted to do with the ball falling out of his hand, him still trying to make a pass completed, and obviously didn't happen because physics would have never allowed him to throw an oblong ball without handle on it and have it be a completion. They actually love Patrick Mahomes and appreciate Patrick Mahomes. They're not laughing in his face in a bad way.
No, I don't think they're laughing at him in a bad way. But I do know that everyone was laughing but Harrison Butker because he knew, hey, you take that goddamn sack so I can kick a field goal one time. I don't know why there's a war against field goals right now.
There seems to be a war against field goals, and Larry David has come in off the top rope.
Yeah.
I just learned of Curb Your Enthusiasm like a year ago. I just started falling in love with this guy. Now I got to fucking hate him. I didn't know I had to hate Larry David. That's a shame. That's one of the best minds we have out there. I have to hate him just strictly because he said, well, I had the field goal post. That guy. Get kicking out of the game. They have no skill. They do this whole thing. I'm like, listen, Larry, I understand how, you're new to football potentially because there's a couple teams in LA all of a sudden. They've kind of cracked into your world. Maybe there'll be a couple episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm, which people love about football. And it seems like he does know football, by the way, because whenever he's talked about kickoff, he said, there's not a lot of returns anymore, which is right, which is why I think they should back that thing up to 30, get a couple more returns, actually get that thing in there. But I didn't know I was going to have to hate Larry David. I don't want to hate Larry David. I love Larry David.
But I don't know if it was a personal shot at you. Now, granted, you are for the brand. You have to represent long snappers, kickers, and punters. But he basically just said, I'm going to eliminate kickers, punters. We're going to table that and come back to it. Yeah.
And this is how it goes. You're on notice. 4 years, we'll see if we get rid of punting or whatever. Start the ball at the 35, do your thing. You got to play football. He said people that only have one skill are coming out to determine who wins the game, and there's a lot of kickings doing that. That's the drama, Larry.
Yeah.
That's the drama of the game.
Yeah, quarterbacks only throw the ball, really. What's the difference?
Yeah. It's a much more vital part of the game, I think is what Larry was saying, which is true. It is very, very, very true. It's a huge part of the game.
Yeah.
I just didn't know I had to hate Larry David, and that's something that I don't necessarily love. He was on Rich Eisen's show. Rich Eisen also, I thought he was very much a for the brand guy.
Yeah, he didn't go to bat for you
He was
at all.
laughing. Ha!
How's that?
Thought he was big on the punters or people, too. He didn't go to bat for you at all.
Not at all. He said, you're going to take out punters too?
That's a great
Rich.
idea.
What's that all about, Rich?
I mean, he's not football, Richie. We know that.
No.
Well, football Richie Bisaccia would have said, hey, Larry has the family. My son actually, kicker. You try to take out a member of my family? Take out a member of your family.
You like that?
I love Larry David. I do. I'm just going to act like what he said didn't go viral and didn't happen.
Yeah.
Nope. Didn't in my mind either. I haven't even seen this.
I'm just going to move along. It was very, there's a lot of things he said in there. It's like, I assume that makes a lot of sense. That is a pretty good point. Yeah. By the way, you don't have kickers. You don't have any more of those uprights sitting on there. And what are they even there for? That's a great question because he went to a game and he was like, so these are only here for this person to jog out and kick. Why is it even here? And then he even had the research of I think it was back in England, rugby style. I was very impressed with his entire answer. Made me laugh, but fuck him.
Yeah, you could put seats on the goalposts. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
sell tickets up there.
Yeah.
Strap them in. Maybe slingshot.
Oh.
Before the game.
Okay.
You strap in and it just kind of shoots you around like you're Chris Angel dangling from the top of the stage.
Yeah, kind of like the Creed performance at the halftime of the Cowboys game all those years ago.
Hey, those bald-headed baby-looking men, flying around. They look like little babies.
Yeah, strapped in.
Yeah, they did. All right, let's get to the phones. Let's go to Chris in Chicago. What's going on, Chris, on the 5-Hour Energy phone line, 5hourenergy.com. Use promo code McAfee to get 10% off your order of the greatest energy shot in the game. What do you want to talk about, pal?
Hey, Pat, boys, big fan. Also a big fan of the pod. Just wanted to say, the people are saying that it is Tone Diggs that wanted to go down to once a week. I just wanted to get a comment on that.
That is not a comment. That is 100% the truth.
Fact, dude.
Yeah,
Live with it. Deal with it. You stink.
Whoa, Tony.
Whoa. Hey, we've had a rough week down in Chicago because that guy Aaron. Love him, but man, it's been tough.
Yeah, I can understand that. Was that really what his call was for, Bennett? Is that the
what's going on here?
is that to get to the bottom of Diggs? Diggs was the reason that the show that I listened to and watched the pod was cut down to one episode per week. 1,000. I actually floated it. Boys, if you're a little bit too tired, season's a lot of work. You guys need to do what you got to do. We got hockey talk. We got Hammered Down. We got this show every day. There's some travel. If you guys want to focus a little bit on stuff, other things, and go ahead and maybe take the pod down to 2 episodes, maybe do whatever you got to do.
Just think about it.
Just think about it. We appreciate it. 3 minutes later, you guys were in this studio going, it's with heavy hearts we have to announce.
I'm so sorry.
I am so sorry. We got to do this.
You said,
and I'm the guy that was getting attacked by your fucking listeners, by the way. It's like, well, it's not me.
Not my listeners.
No, you shouldn't be attacked whatsoever, but you did broach the, thought, hey, why don't you guys spend a little more time with your families when you have it, just because with Thursday Night Football and Sunday and Monday Night Football and the travel that you mentioned, you lose some of that family time out here.
Yeah, well, and also, I have been very conscientious of nobody else having to travel, really, because travel does take a lot of energy out of a lot of people, And just because I'm doing Friday Night Smack doesn't mean that somebody who has put in a lot of great work during the week here in this office has to travel with me. So I've been very conscientious about that. But being at home time, resting time with yourself, that's a real thing. Sometimes you need to have some thoughts that aren't necessarily on a microphone, on a camera, kind of a recharge, especially in adding an extra game, extra week in this whole thing. But how quickly you guys ran with that was, I think, a bit alarming. And I think if the pod listeners and viewers actually saw how that whole thing unfolded behind the scenes, they would potentially not just ask, is it true that Tone takes it? They would be, how come Tone takes away something that we love? How come Tone that thing, those words didn't even get out of my mouth. It was like before they even got out and you're like, we going to do the pod now? Yep. This is the only one this week? No, we should start next week? No. We're starting right now.
Today.
Starting today.
At Tone Diggs on Twitter. Let me know if you're upset about it. I'll gladly block you and never hear from you again.
Also,
it's great, by the way. It's been really, I've gotten back into the block game as opposed to just a mute game. The block game is awesome. I absolutely love the block game. I have no time for your shit. My Twitter account gives away like $1 million a year. We give away and have a bunch of clips on there. You are now going to have to make a burner to see any of our shit. Fuck off. And I'll tell you what, I don't like it being at this point because I'd rather just mute people and say, hey, I don't have to deal with them, listen to them. But there's some people on there that I'm completely, if in real life I could just eliminate them forever, I would. So what am I if I don't do that on Twitter? I feel like I'm a bad person. Block, report, by the way, also. Let's get this person completely off the platform and let's move forward. That's what I've been doing nowadays.
You always say it's stern but fair. I mean, that's no
Stern but
bullshit.
fair.
That's no bullshit. You're stern, but you're also fair.
I'm sitting on those planes too, It's just me, my thoughts, and spotty Wi-Fi.
Yep.
And I'm just scrolling through. This time I'll be reading Shizu, Art of War.
That's right.
Sun Tzu, Art of War.
You got this.
Change?
The Chump Change
There it
edition.
is.
The Chump Change edition.
That's a wild book.
26 pages. It is these Spark Notes that Sun Tzu tried to take advantage of. Hey, listen, don't read the Spark Notes version on the internet. Here's actually a hardcover copy of The Art of War in 26 pages, which I will read. Zito ordered it. Shout out to you, Zito.
Baby Z.
Yep, thank you.
But yeah, one of these flights, I just got to the point where I'm like, all right, fuck them forever. I'm going to start blocking people.
See ya.
I got time today, and I'm reporting them and the whole thing. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Let's get back to the sports talk, shall we? Jimmy G's calf feels real good. Ooh. He said it feels good. It feels real good. After Trey Lance era in the Niners organization didn't go fantastic, Jimmy G is all the way back. When Jimmy G plays for the San Francisco 49ers, they win. That is kind of what happens. Yeah. Everybody will talk about him not being a great quarterback. He's a game manager. He's this, he's that. They seem to win when he plays, and when he's not on the field, they stink for whatever reason. It is why they traded a bunch of draft picks to get up to number 3 overall in this last draft, is to get another quarterback, and they openly said, we're going to keep Jimmy G around. We love what he does for our organization. We're going to pay him $20+ million this year. We're still going to trade away 3 future picks. We're still going to get another guy, but we win whenever we have Jimmy G, and over the last 2 out of 3 years, he's gotten hurt, and we have lost. So we're getting another quarterback. Now, Trey Lance played a little bit, and Kyle Shanahan said he stinks. That's why he's a backup quarterback. Jimmy G is back against a hot Colts team on Sunday Night Football. I think San Francisco 49ers fans are very, very excited and thankful he's back.
You think they're a little worried because Trey Lance did play basically one game and got hurt immediately after it, and they might have a little case of, another quarterback who could be a little injury prone here?
Well, and this also could be another situation with the Herbert Tua situation where you see that you traded 3 picks in the future to get Trey Lance. Nobody really knew a Trey Lance. Everybody thought it was going to be Mac Jones. Everybody in San Francisco, I think, had already bought their Mac Jones jerseys potentially. The internet had learned of Mac, and Trey Lance was kind of the next guy up there. And then draft day, it's like, no, it's not Mac Jones, actually. Mac Jones is going to fall out of the top 10. He's going to end up in New England, look like a guy from the day he gets on campus, basically. And we're going to draft this Trey Lance guy who we view as a project, maybe the next Patrick Mahomes, just like maybe the next Josh Allen, just like they have had success. We're going to do this with Jimmy G being the starter, him learning behind him. Jimmy G gets hurt, which is what Jimmy G has unfortunately had happen to him many times in his career. It seems like since going to San Fran, Trey comes in, he gets hurt as well. A lot of buyer's remorse potentially out of the fans, but we have no idea how this will turn out until 3-4 years down the road from now.
This is probably about his last opportunity in San Francisco too, right? Because if they lose these next 2 weeks, or win this week and then lose next week in that division, like there's no time left. The Cardinals are undefeated. The Rams look like they're going to be there at the end. So if they kind of fizzle out here these next 2 weeks, do you think they're just going to end up going to Trey Lance and saying, all right, fuck it, Jimmy G didn't work out?
So you're 2-3 right now because they've already had their bye week.
Yeah.
If you lose to the Colts on Sunday Night Football, you're 2-4. The next week, if you're 2-5, it's over.
Yeah. Yep.
It's over in that division. It's over to get going there. And I think the Niners know that. I think Kittle also hurt, by the way.
He's on IR.
Incredible player. So they got a lot going on over there. Last year, they got kicked out of their stadium. Remember, they had a COVID situation. I mean, it seems to be a lot of off-the-field shit going on with the Niners. And just a few years back, everybody thought they were going to go win the Super Bowl. Now, one incompletion in the Super Bowl has led to a lot of change over there, a lot of high hopes that had once been maybe on the rocks now. The division's getting a lot better. The Niners are a fascinating situation. Jimmy G being back, though, seems to be a good thing if you're a Niners fan.
And if they, go with Trey Lance and Jimmy G is, a free agent or whatever, him in Cleveland would be unbelievable, I feel like.
Oh, Jimmy G in Cleveland. Yeah. Here we go. So you're saying Baker Mayfield Jimmy G in. You would take Jimmy G over Baker Mayfield.
1,000%. No question.
See, that's another conversation that'll be had out there, I think. I know, because you're saying Jimmy G right now is above Baker Mayfield in that top 8 to 9.
Yeah.
That Ian Rapoport put out there.
Well, I don't agree with Rapoport.
Well, I'm just saying, but you would say
top
that
third. Yeah.
So you're putting Baker.
I'm probably middle third, 15, 16.
Second trimester.
Right below Mac.
First trimester, you have Jimmy G in there.
Yeah. Or top of the second trimester.
He's never really played. I don't think he's played nearly enough to even have that type of thought, right?
I mean, in New England when he was healthy, he was real good. And then he took a team.
He only played, 4 games in New England?
Yeah, 4 or 5. But he took a team to a Super Bowl. Like, that's pretty tough to do.
Very different team, though, now. Bob Saleh's gone, right? The defensive side of the ball is very different. You're right. I agree completely. He was a starting quarterback that took a team to the Super Bowl, which is huge. And I agree, and I think that's why everybody was like, here we go, good pick. Kyle Shanahan's offense. Doesn't matter who it is. The defense is going to hum around there. Now we're a couple years later. There's a couple injuries later, 3 first-rounders in the future being lost. I don't know if everybody would put Jimmy G above Baker. I'm not. Maybe as a New England fan who got a chance to see him since the very beginning, and I guess I'll be excited to hear how the whole Jimmy, Tom, Bill thing actually happened behind the scenes in there. But I'm not sure anybody's putting Jimmy above Baker.
I mean, they're both around like 20 to 25 in the league. But I'm not sure I'd go with
Jeez.
Don't you think he'll just be like a stopgap guy for the rest of his career, though? Because he's kind of shown like you can't trust that this guy's going to be healthy. So like he'll have like this team needs a quarterback this year. I feel like that's unless they turn it around and win a bunch of games this year, that's how his career is going to end up going from here on out.
Foxy, what were you going to say?
I got the MVP odds, and it's the top 9 players if you guys want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's put that up there. So you got Dak with plus 390. Unbelievable, Dak.
Dak.
This is 1 year removed from a cramp that made him have incredible ankle surgery, turn around quickly. They had Hard Knocks as well, which everybody should keep in mind. Then Kyler Murray tied with them, then undefeated Cardinals. They're unbelievable. Josh Allen at plus 420. Tom Brady plus 850. Aaron Rodgers plus 1,200 to go back-to-back. Matthew Stafford plus 1,200. Lamar Jackson 13. Justin Herbert 1,500. Patrick Mahomes 1,500. So there is 9 quarterbacks, and Ian Rapoport said Baker's top 8 to 9. Said the internet's going to let him know. Sports books are also letting him know. That is quite a cast of quarterbacks to be up there. And you're saying that Jimmy G above Baker, as well as obviously all these guys.
Definitely not, as well as all those guys. I don't think.
No. You're above being above.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, obviously, I think that has to do with the fact that team with their O-line, with their running game, with the weapons they have, like, damn near any quarterback who could throw the pigskin and stay healthy could probably have a lot of success.
What if that doesn't happen, though? What if they move on from Baker and the football gods just say, nah, you can't do it? Like what happened in Detroit.
It'll happen.
Hey, Detroit's a much different situation.
Yeah, like the Browns are stacked. I mean, on paper at least, like with Odell.
How long are they all around? I know they got at least everybody for at least another year after this year, I think. But there's free agents coming up, you know. And by the way, if, and I'm not saying they're going to move on from Baker, but let's say they do. Imagine they move on to a quarterback that's even more so, just like Marcellus Wiley is going. No, Marcellus.
Whitney Merciless.
Whitney. Hey, Marcellus Wiley might be getting back in again. True. He looks good on TV out there. But Merciless, he's going to Green Bay because they got a guy. You know, like everybody's kind of going to places that have a guy. Who knows what ends up with Cleveland. Tonight's big game, though, for KC.
Huge. Oh, yeah.
Let's get to a break, shall we? Let's get back on the other side and wrap up this beautiful risk-free same-game parlay Thursday Night Football. There's still some things we got to talk about. The fugazi that could be potentially happening down in Miami with the Watson conversation. Josh Jacobs describing the post-Gruden era. Worth a conversation. DK Metcalf learning of Shannon Sharp's resume.
Yeah.
That happened. We got to talk about that. And obviously the Lions stink. We're back in 4 minutes. We'll take some more phone calls at 1-833-4-McAfee. Can't wait to chat with you then. Cheers. The head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Coach Mike Tomlin.
Oh, man, Pat, it's an honor to be on with you, man. Thanks for having me.
You're a legend. Thank you for putting me through my workout and having the scouts actually come watch me kick at West Virginia. I don't think I've ever fully thanked you for that moment, Coach.
No, man. I've drank the McAfee Kool-Aid for a long time.
Let's get right into it. The locker room culture changed completely when I was in the league, from when I was a rookie to when I was done, and I retired after the 2016 season. Now it's even more different, I would assume, from when you came into Pittsburgh and everything like that. The dancing on the logo, the TikTok, everything like that you guys have had to experience. What is your messaging in there? How do you adapt and let players be themselves without, doing too much? Because that is a fine balance that you've been able to do, I think, in an incredible job with throughout your entire time in Pittsburgh.
I think for me, more than anything, I try to stay connected. Just getting a sense of where these guys are coming from, what's in vogue for their generation, what captures their attention, how do they learn, how do they communicate, how do they interact with each other formally and informally. And I think being a parent kind of helps me. My boys are 19 and 20, so it's not much difference between them and some of the younger guys that I deal with here. And so for me, it's just about gaining an understanding, working to stay connected. That's my general attitude, man. It's adapt or die for me. And I don't want to be one of them old crusty guys, man, that just refuses to adapt. Although I am one of those old crusty guys now.
Yeah, you are old as shit now. You know what I mean? I mean, you've been around a long time. I remember back in the day, whenever you showed up, there was a lot more, to the camera. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. Now you're just old ass man now, huh?
You know how it is. Years in this business will scar you, man. It'll settle you down.
That is classic. One of my favorite moments with you is when you would tell me every warm-up, I'm going to get you back to Pittsburgh when you're old and cheap. What does that mean? What did that mean? And should that have been taken as a smack in the mouth, like whenever you said that to me?
No, man, it was a tip of the cap, man. There's certain guys around this league that I'm really interested in, but I know I cannot afford. And you were one of them, so I was going to wait for you to physically deteriorate a little bit until you came back into my wheelhouse.
Yinzers are going to go bananas in Heinz Field this weekend. First time it could be filled up in a long time. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to... Oh, mama, I'm in here. Oh, my life, I'm Is that your alarm clock? Yeah, just say yes, by the way. Yeah.
It's my ringtone. It's my alarm
clock. We appreciate you, Coach T. Last question before we let you go. Why'd you let Troy Polamalu do what he fucking did to me? Why'd you let... I know you've heard of this. Why? Well, that's a short side of the field. That's bad football. You guys coaching unsound football over there in Pittsburgh? How did that happen?
We know you and love you as a man. But on Sundays in the fall, man, you're the nameless gray faces that we...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, never had a losing season, absolute legend, two-time Super Bowl champion, Mike Tomlin.
Yeah!
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah!
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Today our show is brought to you by the good people at Thursday Boot Company, because it is Thursday, but Thursday boots are for every day. A bootstrap startup that makes the best handcrafted boots and sells them direct to consumer at some of the lowest markups in the footwear industry.
Wow.
Thursday Boots' tagline is highest quality, honest prices, because they use some of the best material like full grain leather, supple glove leather lining, and gold standard Goodyear welt construction. But Thursday Boot Company sells their boots at prices starting at just $149.
Wow. Good.
They're incredibly comfortable, versatile, and durable. Thursday boots are perfect for people who understand quality and don't want to pay a high retail markup for a great-looking pair of boots that are built to last.
Yeah.
Go to ThursdayBoots.com/Pat for free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges. So if you don't like the fit out of the box, you can just send them right back and get a new pair. That is ThursdayBoots.com/PAT. Tone, you love these things.
Hell yeah, man. They're the best.
I'm not a big boot guy. Okay, I don't wear a lot of boots. But Tone is a big boot guy, and Thursday boots are your boots of choice.
They have so many styles, and they're classy, and they look good.
And they feel good too, right?
Yeah.
Not like stiff. You know, sometimes you put some of those boots in.
Genuine leather, my friend.
I don't wear boots, so I have no idea. This would be tough for me to say, hey, these are good boots, because I don't really wear boots. Last boots I really wore were Timbos and cowboy boots.
Right. Yeah.
But Thursday boots on your day-to-day to look professional, agile, durable, everything like that, Thursday boots is the right thing. That's what Diggs has told me, who is an avid boot wearer.
Huge boot guy.
Made for walking.
How you feel about that same game parlay right now?
Pretty good.
You still feel good. I feel even better, by the way, because something Ian said took somebody out of the conversation that we don't really have to worry about anymore.
Ernest Johnson, right?
Yes. No. He said something about somebody else.
Oh, Melvin Gordon and
Judy.
Oh, Javonte Williams. He said he didn't know if
he's going to go or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There was something that potentially happened for the Gordon. I mean, we feel real good about this. This game, we have no idea what's going to happen, but we tried to sort through. And now Connecticut, by the way, welcome.
Let's go.
Here we go. Welcome
boys.
to the team, Connecticut. Let's go ahead and get this thing. We have no idea what's going to happen in the game, but we feel very, very good. Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton going to catch some balls. Case Keenum's going to dial it up. Some incredible offense with Kevin Stefanski back at the helm telling him what to do.
It does kind of seem like a game, too. You mentioned it. I mean, Jarvis Landry, we didn't think he was going. Boom, he catches a little slant, takes it 80 yards maybe right away, and boom, Keenum's already got 75, 80 yards. We're 14 minutes left in the first quarter here.
Jarvis Landry being back is absolutely huge for that entire team. And then Melvin Gordon over 25 yards. That could happen
Piece of cake.
first play of the game.
Right away.
We're in the entire time. Welcome, Connecticut. Come join us on this risk-free same-game parlay.
Go.
It's currently plus 742. $10 will win you $74.27. You got to get in here early as these odds do move. It was plus 771 just about an hour ago. Now it's plus 742. It'll hopefully give us a little something more to watch tonight if this game ends up breaking all the records of a shit football.
I mean, this is the only reason I'm watching this game today.
Bingo!
Yeah, literally the only reason.
Bingo! And also maybe because Case Keenum.
Yeah.
What's Case Keenum got? Maybe he gets another shot next year, by the way. Whenever you talk about no free agents, no draftable quarterbacks in everybody's eyes, who's going to get a chance to maybe do something again? Who's a backup that is somewhere that might get a shot to become a starter again because they have no other options? Maybe Case Keenum does that tonight.
Who says no?
He's got like 10 opportunities to do that in the past. Maybe he does it again tonight with Kevin Stefanski calling the plays.
Revenge game. Going up against the former team that said, you know what, Case, why don't you get the hell out of town?
Oh, yeah, they did say that. John Elway. That was in the middle of the John Elway run of who's our quarterback. We have no idea. Let's bring in the big, tall Broctagon out of Montana. He's out. Case Keenum, he'll work. He's out. Drew Lock, he'll work. He's out. I mean, they had to run. Flacco, he's out. They had a run of quarterbacks in there. Maybe there's a lot of people with a point to prove against Broncos, but on the flip side, I need Teddy Bridgewater to do well as well in this. I need Teddy Bridgewater to do well. I just have no idea who's going to win.
No clue. And let's remember, they kicked Flacco out of town after he said, hey, guys, let's try and win some games here.
Yeah, Joe Flacco, normally very quiet and reserved publicly, talking about the team. For the first time in my experience, he looked like an actual starting quarterback in the NFL, talking about what the team needed. He got put on IR the next day. Get the fuck out of town.
And that was shortly after we had Flacco on the show as the starting quarterback of the Broncos.
And he said, what's up? All right, let's go to Dan in Wisconsin on the 5 Energy phone line. What's going on, Dan?
Hey, how's it going, Pat?
Not too shabby. Much better than Big E right now. He's eating a lot of Drew McIntyre.
Oh. Shout out, Pack and the boys. My name's Dan from Wisconsin. I'm actually heading back home right now to the lovely state of Wisconsin. I would ask you a Packers question, but you guys are talking MVP race, and I didn't see on that list Derrick Henry. I think we all agree that, yes, it's a quarterback league. Yes, it's tough to win without a quarterback. But is Derrick Henry the only non-quarterback that actually might be the most important player on his team? And if you take him off, Tennessee might not even be a 5-12 team.
Dan, great question. Going back to Wisconsin, safe travels, pal. We appreciate you calling in. He is the next person projected after Patrick Mahomes. I think it's plus 16, plus 7.
2,800.
Oh, shit. No, it's plus 20.
It was 3,500 the other day. I put in a ticket on it, had to. I mean, he's projected to potentially go over 2,016 games, do everything. So, yeah.
He's unbelievable. And to your point about him being the one carrying their team, a team that is 4-2 currently, and nobody's really talking about, although they did crack into the ESPN Power Rankings at number 10 overall. The Bills moved from 1 to 2 after the loss. We actually had Derrick Henry's stats on top of Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty put together an incredible stat or graphic he has. This one. He's incredibly talented, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Drawn to the game. Dirty Gertie. We are very lucky that he has been added into the office, making our entire show quality much better. We had actually Derrick Henry put on above Tannehill because that is the story. Now, normally it's quarterback, running back, receiver, if the running back has a good game, or it's quarterback, receiver, receiver. We made an absolute decision to say, hey, this is Derrick Henry's squad. We all know it. We all realize it. They go as Derrick Henry goes. They're going to have to figure some shit out on the defensive side of the ball, but Derrick Henry should be in that conversation. But we all know the NFL pays the biggest salaries to the quarterbacks. If they were to give a running back the MVP, that would have to change business how it's done around the NFL. It's going to end up with a quarterback. We're not happy about it. We're just telling you what the reality of the situation is.
Yeah, I don't know if he's on the same level as Henry because no one really is. But is Kamara really the only other running back where it's like he kind of dictates how the offense goes?
What's going on with the Saints? Were they on a bye last week?
Yeah, they're on a bye last week.
Inconsistent as hell, it feels like.
Who do they have this week? They have
Seattle Monday night in Seattle.
They have a massive game, and this is Geno Smith, Seattle, right?
Yeah. Unless former Colt great Jacob Eason gets a start.
Oh,
Jacob
possible.
Look out.
He got signed by the Seattle Seahawks?
Former University of Washington quarterback.
He's a Pacific Northwest hero.
Yes.
Put him in the
Skinny
game.
QB. He did get in the game for the Indianapolis Colts against the Rams. It was a terrible situation, obviously. He threw a pick immediately. He had a lot of high hopes this preseason, a lot of thoughts and conversations. He is now backing up Geno. Will he be the one that goes out and does the coin toss then for overtime, or will that still be Russell Wilson?
I don't know if he's backing up or whatever, but, it's probably going to be Russell Wilson.
Has to be Russell.
What if he does another 2-minute drill Monday Night Football?
Has to.
With pads on this time.
If he doesn't.
Then the last one was for Gates.
Yeah, it'd be disingenuous.
What if he realized after the first one, because that was the first game he's missed in 10 years, what if he was like, I don't have to do that? And what if he decides not to do it?
What's going to be awesome at this one, too, he'll have to quiet the crowd down.
Because he'll be home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
You think he scored on that 2-minute drill?
Yeah,
Big,
without
come
question.
on, Foxy. Come on, dude.
42 seconds.
Hey, clear eyes, full hearts, dude. We ran right down. I don't think he had an incompletion, a misbeat. I did see him scramble a little bit, so the offensive line did fuck up.
Yeah,
he knew they would
play.
Yeah.
Was there a penalty on that scramble for the hold?
There was on the defense.
Oh, okay.
It was free play type.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was free play type situation.
Oh, smart.
Let's go to Vinny in Michigan. What's going on, Vinny? Get a free play. You got to
How y'all doing?
Justin Fields tried his fucking
They don't
best
let you
to
do that anymore.
They stop it.
They do. They
Why
do
are they
not
stopping
let him do it anymore.
And I've seen quarterbacks get very upset. Like, it'll happen every once in a while, right? Every once in a while you get a free play, too many men or offsides or something like encroachment without any contact happening. But it does seem like it's getting stopped a lot more for the safety of everybody. It's like, well, some quarterbacks are losing out on some shots there.
Rodgers thrives on that. Absolutely.
Justin
thrives on
Fields
that.
might thrive on it as well.
Yeah.
They kind of fucked him over on that entire thing for sure.
Big time. Love to see it.
Let's go to Vinny in Michigan. Sorry about it, pal. We had to bitch about the refs just one last time. What do you want to talk about, pal?
They stink.
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Hey, not too shabby, Paisan. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing all right. I'm going down to the game on Sunday thinking I'm going to see the Lions pull it out, first win. But you know what? It's got time for Jared Goff to get out of town, man. I'm spending my money. This guy, he looks like Stevie Wonder in a funhouse out there.
I hung up on him, but I didn't get to follow up. Is Vinny traveling? That game was in L.A., right?
I think he was talking about the Bengals game. That was in Detroit last weekend.
He expected to.
And Jared Goff did not play good.
And by the way, MCDC did come out and say Goff stinks.
Yeah. Step it up, man.
Now, to be clear, everybody said Goff stinks whenever you guys made the trade, and in return, they also gave a bunch of picks alongside of the massive contract that you picked up. So I think everybody had the understanding that Goff might not be a guy, even though he took a team to the Super Bowl. To your point, the Jimmy Garoppolo earlier today, that Jimmy was able to take the Niners to a Super Bowl. That means something. It does mean something. He was able to start at quarterback, the most important position on the field, and win a game that sent somebody to the Super Bowl. That's a massive game. The NFC Championship, AFC Championship, massive games. So that definitely says something. But whenever you talk about Jared Goff, it does seem like he's so hit or miss that he can't be a guy that you invest $100 million in. Can't be a guy that you trade for and pick up that contract if you're trying to rebuild the team. But maybe he'll completely turn this whole thing around.
Yeah, maybe. And, it's classic. The Lions might go 0-17 this year, get the first-round pick, or first pick in the draft. And we just talked about there are no quarterbacks to draft anyway, so it's perfect.
Yeah. You guys are drafting a guy out of Liberty, though. At least you'll know that his life, he's been kind of rooted against his entire life, chip on his shoulder. He ended up at fucking Liberty. He's the number one quarterback taken.
Spencer Rattler would be perfect for Detroit.
Actually,
I think.
he would.
I really think
Blue
if you
collar.
look at blue collar guy, you look at his skill set. I mean,
there's no way in hell MCDC. I don't know. I've never sat down with Spencer. Maybe we get along with Spencer.
Sling the ball all over the yard. Both teams. Doesn't matter.
Well, yeah.
If they get the first pick, they're taking a fullback. That'll change Detroit's entire course of their football career.
Everybody in the college football community is saying that there's a defensive end that's the outright number one.
Yeah,
The outright.
Back-to-back, they'll take back-to-back Oregon guys as their number one pick.
I'm good with that.
Hey, Sewell's been a player, right?
He was started off pretty good. He's kind of going back. He's had a tough season because he started out right tackle all preseason.
Did terrible.
And then they moved him to left tackle because Decker's out. Decker's coming back, and now no one knows what the hell's going on.
Decker's a captain getting paid how much?
A lot. He's very good.
$460, I think.
But his deal was done by the previous regime.
Correct.
September 2020.
And he's a captain. He's appreciated by everybody. He's left tackle. Their number one overall pick, their first pick of this new regime, they picked that they celebrated so hard for in the draft thing was Penne. He was at right tackle. They said, no big deal. You're normally a left tackle. You missed last year. We'll move you to right tackle. It's a tough adjustment for some people. Now he's gotten to play left tackle because old buddy Decker has been out. He's coming back at some point. Very expensive. Trade deadline just a couple weeks away. I don't know how that's going to work out, but look for him to potentially be on the move to a team that might need a left tackle that's a stud and a captain, a guy maybe wants to get out of Detroit.
Yeah, like with Baltimore, you saw it last year where Orlando Brown moved to left tackle and then he was going to get moved back to right tackle. It was like, no, I'm not playing.
His dad said
that he took his
family.
Yeah.
It was something.
His dad played left tackle and told him hey, left tackle is a position on the O-line. Then his dad passed away, and then when he got moved to left tackle last year, he was like, I'm not going back to right tackle. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, but it wasn't just they said something that was so powerful in the way they described it. It was his dad. His dad passed away, but it was almost like
it was family legacy.
His dad played left tackle too.
No, but I'm saying the way they described it, the way they said about why he would not go back to right tackle, not just that it's $7 million more a year to play on the left side instead of the right side, and not just because there's only a certain amount of great left tackles like he was and has shown that he was. There was also something else that was it had to do with that, but the way they worded it was like, yeah, he ain't ever going back.
No.
That guy ain't ever going back to right tackle. He ain't going to be able to do it.
Well, and you mentioned him and the Ravens. Isn't Ronnie Stanley out for the rest of the season now? So maybe they are a team who goes after and gets the guy from Detroit.
And by the way, we understand he's a hell of a football player.
Yeah.
Decker. We understand that he's a captain, loves Detroit, been there a long time, a staple. But if you just look at how the NFL normally operates, if somebody is their person, like they just drafted this person number one overall, and he's having success somewhere as opposed to a complete failure somewhere else, and you're trying to build a whole new thing, I don't hope they do it. I'm just saying you got to keep an eye on that left tackle up there in Detroit potentially getting traded. And if it happens, I would like this to potentially get clipped and say, oh, okay, they do know what they're talking. And if it doesn't happen, just act like this never happened. Yeah. Let's go to Scotty in Texas. Scotty doesn't know. Crown Jewel. Drew McIntyre has a sword.
Quite calculated.
What's going on, Scotty?
How you doing, Pat?
Hey, not too shabby. I'm feeling good because I'm on the 5-Hour Energy phone line with you. Go to 5hourenergy.com. Use promo code McAfee. Get 10% off your order of 5-Hour Energy shots. They have 15 original, beautiful flavors. What do you want to talk about, Scotty?
First of all, I just want to give you and the boys in the studio a shout-out. I broke my neck a few years ago, and you boys always keep me laughing and keep the spirit high around here. And I watch y'all every day, so I just want to give y'all a shout out for that.
Scotty, we appreciate you letting us be a part of your day-to-day, sir. Sorry to hear about the broken neck, obviously. Happy to hear that we're a little piece of a mental vacation for you, but we will let you know you'll probably get sick of me. I'd assume not the boys. You'll probably get sick of me at some point, and at that point, don't worry about it. It's understandable. We appreciate the hell out of you.
No, not at all. But
it'll happen.
So I'm a big Panthers fan, and we got Stephon Gilmore this week coming to practice. And with Sam Darnold looking like he's playing for the Jets again, do you think the Panthers would trade for Deshaun Watson?
Thank you for that question, Scotty. That ownership was in on Deshaun Watson. Ian Rapoport said that the same teams are still in.
Mm-hmm.
And the same teams were Miami, Carolina, Philly. Allegedly, the Jets were in, but they got Zach Wilson now. I assume they're there. Denver was potentially going to be in that conversation, but allegedly reports out of Denver, they're not in there. So you got to think Carolina is having their ear to the ground on any quarterback situation. With that being said, Ian Rapoport said nothing is imminent. There is so much to handle off the field, just like we've been saying this entire time. What team is going to make that pull? I don't know.
On the broadcast on Sunday, they showed the plans for the facility that he's building down there for the Panthers. Jesus.
That's what it's like whenever you have an owner that invests in the team and wants to win. Might be a lot of turnover, might look like a fantasy football owner, but they're going to try to win for the city regardless. And that is nice for the Carolina Panthers fans. If Sam Darnold can't turn it back around, let's assume he'll be on his way out, even with the fifth-year option already picked up. That is the state of the NFL. That is the world. Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed will be on the other side of this 6-minute break. I promise his show will be better than ours. We'll see you tomorrow for a Feel Good Friday. Cheers. 2 seconds early. Oh, that's a beer. That sounds like somebody pissing.
That's
a little beer.
A little Brewha being poured.
Ice cold beer, wine.
So I've seen in some cities and places where the old cannabis is legal. Mm-hmm. A lot of drinks now being served at bars.
Oh, yeah.
So I can come hang out with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When you guys are out.
They're doing that in bars already?
Yeah. Cocktails and that whole thing's starting to happen.
Smoothies.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. It's very awesome.
You can
like
probably
a mixed
drink 10,000 of those things.
Man, listen, if I can now combine my chugging ability with my THC potential ability, we're talking good times. And I can't wait for the entire country to be like that, hopefully. You know?
Soon.
That needs to happen very soon.
It's coming, just like the game.
Because I like to come watch you guys get absolutely, obliterated, which is what you guys like to do with the whiskeys and the tequilas and the beers, the cold beers, the warm beers, the IPA beers, the weird beers. You guys do all that shit.
Uh-huh.
And I'll just be over there like, give me the 50 milligram one, please.
That would be sweet.
That would be sweet.
For the whole bar, too?
Yeah.
Could do that.
I couldn't do that. That'd be very rude.
But
All right, listen, imagine the bud tender trying to explain it. Like, hey, listen, this was purchased by that man right over there, but you need to be
careful.
We don't know what type of
when
night
you take this.
That'll be a whole new world kind of opening up. What an honor it is to get a chance to chat with people day to day about sports, especially today on the equinox.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's every basketball, baseball, hockey, football, WWE. I mean, what a beautiful day to survive and be alive and thrive. And what a beautiful day for this risk-free same-game parlay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It's hard to focus on anything other than it.
It really is.
Can't wait. I wish the game was at goddamn 4 o'clock so we could just get this thing going.
And the assholes on the internet who say that they think that we're trying to, make FanDuel. It's a risk-free same-game parlay.
You idiot.
Okay? It's going to happen. But also, they're only saying that because we haven't won one yet. Like, if we win one, not only is the amount of money that people are going to win, $10 for 77 or 74, wherever you get in there, all across the board for all of our people, our team, our community, our family, our here we go. But also we put to bed all that bullshit, which I'm very thankful and excited for. I almost get fired up, actually. It's almost like, don't take anything personal. But whenever people say that we're setting these things up for FanDuel to make money off of our listeners, like I take it personal every single time. Like, nah, asshole. We don't own, FanDuel doesn't own us. We don't own FanDuel. We are trying to take every dollar from them every single fucking week, and we need the same game parlay.
I mean, you should get fired up. We're still gambling here, okay? We want to win, okay? It's not.
They're paying us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats.
They are our exclusive sports book, and their tech is unbelievable. And the way they're even keeping stats on your bet slips to keep you updated on where they're by far the best sports book. Okay,
Easy.
we get it. But we are trying to beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if people understand. We are trying to beat that book bad. Daily. Just like the old bookies that used to go. Now that it's regulated, there's a lot of shit that we can and can't do, and there's games that we can and can't create, and there's bets that we can and can't create because, regulations are involved to be as safe as possible. But don't get it twisted. We are trying to take every goddamn dollar that they have at all times. I don't know how many times we're going to say it, but I'm getting fed up with people telling me that I'm a shill for FanDuel trying to cook the book. It's like, no. I'm trying to win. That's why I get mad when my wife is on this incredible same-game parlay streak, and she says, sorry, I can't tell you any information. Then all of a sudden we start talking to Tone this morning. He's like, I am on a little bit of a same-game parlay heater, but that's for the NBA. It's like, and then we start looking into stats. Oh, they're good against this. They're not good against this. And we start looking at, is that person playing? We don't know. It's just the over-under for yards is at 46. Last game had 52. The game before that had 27. Game before that had 80. Game before that had 11. It's like, whoa, this is a tough game. But tonight I feel like we did it, Tone. I feel like we did it.
I feel like that too. And personally, I didn't even opt in because I need to feel like I have something on the line. So it ain't risk-free for me, baby. I'm losing my money if I don't win this.
Let's go, Tony.
Wild, man.
I like that.
Me too, by the way. Because I want a little larger than $10 on this.
Same.
Because I would like the juju.
Yeah, as you should.
FanDuel if I win on that thing.
I did opt in, but I mean,
You did opt smart.
Of course.
And welcome, Connecticut. You can do this as well. You got to opt in, then hit the same game parlay. Then we fly together.
And the people that say, oh, you guys are just trying to make money for FanDuel, then why are we spending hours and hours and hours of our mornings in the same game parlay laboratory trying to cook up the perfect same game parlay, huh?
You ever been in the same game parlay laboratory? It's fucking deep in there.
Yeah, there's always something cooking.
Bro, because you find something that's a gimme, and then all of a sudden, well, not so fast.
Yeah.
This person's not playing, which means this isn't happening. This didn't happen. This is what we're lucky to do this stuff.
Very.
Oh, yeah.
Back
Love
to the
it.
original point. Very lucky to
Like
do
Carissa
this.
said. Got good gigs.
Yeah. Appreciate your position and playing your promotion.
Boom.
She never let us know what the promotion was.
No,
I
that
don't
was
think she had one of mine.
That was kind of my question.
Yeah.
What
Good
is-
quote, though, from Jalen Rose.
Great quote. Very real quote.
Is that like dress for the job you want, not
similar.
the job you have? Is that like one of those?
No, because that would mean that Ty would like to be a homeless man on the streets.
Hey, listen. If you could find me a homeless guy that's wearing the sweatpants I'm wearing, let's do it.
All right.
Those guys are pooping in their own pants, and they're definitely not in nice pairs of sweatpants like the ones I'm wearing. And I'm wearing jeans today.
Hey, Whoa. You do look very nice.
Come on.
You do look very nice. Risk-free same-game parlay Thursday Night Football
Gotta do
Thursday.
it. Gotta do it. Dress to the nines.
Now, I dress like an asshole, too, so I don't know if that's what the job that I'm in. But I understand that there are numerous quotes about, hey, what are we doing next? And I appreciate that. But what we're doing next is winning tonight.
Boom.
Right.
Not everybody can wear a turtleneck and a vest all the time either. It's tough.
Like an island boy?
Who's that?
Just in general, it's hard to find clothes like that.
Why are
to
you
wear.
guys going so
do you
hard
guys
at
do?
Archer?
I don't get it.
What is the deal with Archer? Dude, I thought you were talking Steve Jobs right there.
Yeah.
Nah, he didn't have the vest.
Maybe it's because he saw the Island Boys talking about wearing vests. and
How
he
was that
like-
last night with Dave? What did we learn
Zito
about the
watched
Island
it.
Boys with Dave?
They were amazing freestylers.
Yeah, we saw them.
No, they did it again. They gave him 3 topics, and then they just went off.
And they Island Boyed it?
Oh,
So
yeah.
that is their concert. Okay,
yeah.
good. So we were on to something for them.
Yeah.
They had a couple hell of a stories.
Yeah?
That made no sense at all, but they did have some good stories.
They were kidnapped by the Bloods at one point.
Yeah,
It was
by their
What?
manager. They're 20 years old.
No surprise, one of them's been in jail.
No.
both of them been.
Well, listen.
No
probably
surprise, both of them have been in jail.
Well, by the way, it's probably better for their rap resume and
Exactly.
career and stuff. They've been there, done that. Probably just caught up in a couple situations that they didn't try to.
Yeah.
Because all they are is really just a couple Island Boys.
My vest on, yeah.
Face tats, dude. That's when you know.
Yeah, I wonder why he has the 17. Like, is he a massive Devontae Adams fan, or does he
Probably.
love the number 17, or was he 17?
No,
when he
actually,
got
he
it?
was an Austin Collie fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so
when
he's
he-
an OG.
Yeah, he was like 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
When Austin Collie was out there.
That's what I
And
mean.
Austin Collie took that one hit in Philadelphia, was down on the field, and he was like, I want to commit to the game as hard as that guy. So he put 17.
Is he a Mormon, maybe, too?
I don't think the Island Boys are.
Can't get tattooed if you're Mormon.
I don't think.
Oh, really?
Maybe. We don't know. Did Dave ask?
He did not.
Okay.
I assumed he didn't choose his tattoos. When he hatched out of the coconut, they were already.
There's no way those
on
guys
him.
are Mormon. They've drank
Born
so
with
much Mountain Dew in their lives.
Yeah.
No.
Also a good point.
Mormons can't drink their own piss.
I
either.
would like to. All right.
And we know they're doing that.
All right.
Why?
All right. Watson to Miami, where the Florida boys, the Island boys are. Smells like a fugazi. Kind of went through that with Ian Rapoport.
Yeah.
There's been mixed reports that that deal was done. John McClain, who we have a lot of respect for down there at the Houston Chronicle, has been covering the Texans for a long time. A lot of regimes, a lot of success, a lot of failure, whole new turnover. John McClain's hearing something. We don't know why or how he's hearing this, because it seems like everybody outside of Houston that isn't directly associated with the city says that this probably isn't imminent and this isn't going to happen. Same conversation that's been happening this entire time. Are they doing this to drum up interest for Deshaun Watson trades before the November 2nd trade deadline? Maybe, but I think everybody's on the same page at this point. Off the field has to get figured out long before any of this other stuff.
I believe Jalen Waddle said something along the lines of, "We're not listening to rumors, preparing for the game." Like this has Tua's hearing all this. Like,
Well, yeah, Tua's hearing all this. And Dolph fam, okay, Fins Up community, they heard this before and got very mad about all this conversation happening because this isn't the best way to maybe, endear yourself with a young quarterback who seems to be going through. Last year, they bench him in 2-minute situations for Fitzmagic. This year, going into the season, coming off an injury, gets hurt again. Now he's here and he's not the guy. He's going to trade out of town. It's crazy, but this is the NFL. Yeah, you got to deal with it. You get a chance to play. You got to go put out good film. That's probably the case. But in the long haul, probably not the best way to do business with Tua Tagovailoa if you are the Miami Dolphins.
Also, 2 OCs and the calls going to the quarterback coach as well before they go to Tua. I mean, they've really given him a great chance to fucking succeed.
And this is a Dolphins fan speaking with a clear head here. As somebody who was a part of the Dolph fam for a little bit before I almost got ran out of town, obviously, it doesn't feel like if they believe that Tua was the guy behind the scenes, any of this would be happening. So maybe Tua's just got to continue to grow, but how will we ever know?
And if you drafted him, what tells you after watching him for 8 games different from the film you saw before?
Well, remember, you guys paid Kyle Van Noy a bunch of money and then cut him the next year.
Yeah, but we got Van Ginkel who can't tackle a cardboard box.
No, I don't know that about old Van Dinky, but I do know that the Dolphins fans, they buried Kyle Van Noy for Kyle Van Noy whenever he was with the Dolphins. He came on our show numerous times, was proud of being asked to come in there, the grit, the work, everything behind the scenes, and then he gets cut. Dolphins are currently paying him to play for the New England Patriots, which I believe are above them in the division standings.
Oh, yeah.
Quite?
We are in second and they're in last. So
One
game.
Anyways, above them in there, and Kyle Van Noy is, I think, starting for them. The Dolphins fans, whenever I brought that point up, they're not the same team as they were last year. They're a much different team. When you lose a guy like Van Noy, who was talking about how much pride he had behind the scenes in building that team and the culture and everything, he gets cut. Dolphins fans say, that guy stinks. All they did was show one highlight of him getting run over by Josh Allen, which a lot of people have been run over by Josh Allen. They said this guy can't make any plays, get him the fuck out of town. I was like, what's going on down there with the Dolphins fans? You guys just blindly have to accept whatever moves are made. I think every move that has been made by that organization for a long time has not given you the confidence that the moves that they're making are good moves. And I think you're probably fed up with it. Is that what it sounds like coming out of Gumpy's mouth right there?
I've been fed up for a long time. When they cut Van Noy, I lost my mind on this show, actually.
Because it's not Van Noy.
It's you know we're never going to win. And if you think we're going to win, you are a buffoon.
Well, and it's
not going to change. It's never going to change. The Dolphins stink. They've stunk since Marino was done.
Well, and that's everybody that was attacking me about how Kyle Van Noy played and a couple bad plays and lowlights and everything. It's like, it's not about just Van Noy. It's about you paid this dude a year ago. Who knows what he's going to potentially become in the locker room leader or maybe even on the field in the system another year with B-Flow. And you cut him, you're still paying him, and he's playing somewhere else. Van, we didn't need fucking Van Noy or whatever. It's like, I don't think it's just Van Noy. It's the over. You run Tua out of town, which seems like it's going to happen. What if Deshaun comes in and can't even play because of everything? Like, you're going to run him out of town. It's just, I don't know. It's fascinating the way the Dolphins organization operates because that is a beautiful place. There's no state income tax. B-Flow seems to be a guy the players like, but he's probably a part of the decision making. I don't know why it continues. They should be loading up to become the next Tampa.
Yeah.
They should be loading up to try and become what Tampa became when Tom got there. Let's get another quarterback that wants to maybe retire in a warmer climate, no state income tax. Let him kind of recruit and build this place up. And maybe that is what they're trying to do. They just decided to draft Tua before Herbert and didn't really expect this whole situation.
Obviously, there's a lot to unpack with Watson, but if he is acquitted, he is so good at football that if he does go down to Miami as a Patriots fan, it makes me not too happy about it.
He's unbelievable at football when he's playing.
Yeah, unbelievable.
He has not played in 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, a long time.
Less the offseason. I mean, I guess he was doing some workouts we saw there, and
Mhm.
who
Yeah.
knows
Oh,
what
yeah,
else we're not
Fields.
seeing. But if they're planning on just dropping him in to start, I don't know how that pans out.
He's very, very good at football.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. J.J. Watt actually said we wasted him one of your best.
Yeah.
years.
And when you looked at it statistically, he was in the top 5 in damn near every category. So it was
Rushing, passing, touchdowns, turnover percentage, everything. Completion percentage.
absurd. So if he does go down to Miami, I will be very upset about it.
Well, there's
Lot has to come
he's
together.
got a deposition in February. I mean, that's
Yeah, exactly. But he played for the Texans, and that place was burning down, and he somehow still kind of kept them afloat.
It's a wild time in the NFL. We'll continue more tomorrow on Feel Good Friday. We're going live 11 to 2 here on
we go. Hell yeah.
YouTube. Little Feel Good Friday with the boys. Can't wait to chat with you guys tomorrow about everything happening in the NFL. Can't thank you all for watching. We got up to almost 30,000 on a Thursday.
Hell yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, always good. Numbers concurrent-wise. Wednesday, Thursday, a little bit dead. Hey, what are we doing? Feel Good Friday always does its own thing. But we can't thank everybody for rocking with us, honestly. The show is only as good as the boys are and the contents that we have. And I appreciate everything that you guys do every single day. I really do.
Appreciate
you,
I don't know
boss.
if I say it enough, because every
You
time
do.
somebody calls in, they feel the need.
Fuck them.
You shouldn't even take.
Yeah, they kind of.
I might stop.
That's what I thought earlier. We took one call, and it was okay. Good calls for the day. We'll just end it there.
No, because I appreciate what people are saying. I like hearing from people, but goddamn, I feel like, do we have the worst callers of every show that has ever happened?
I think it's across the board on all callers and all shows.
I don't know. I feel like I used to call in shows when I was in high school.
Well,
I probably stunk, yeah. I probably stunk and didn't even know it.
Just the conversational point that has just never gone away, and I feel like it's been hammered 100 times. Hey, don't need the preamble. How you guys doing? Doing good. I'm doing good.
But I
too.
do, if we see each other in public, though.
That's completely different. But on the phones, you got to come in. You got to take your shot and get out.
Boom. We talked about this yesterday. And by the way, we talk about callers off air. This is something that I would like to figure out because I appreciate callers, and I was a caller in the shows, and it adds to the show, and it's always, for us, it gives us a little jolt of life, too. And we get a chance to do that whole thing. Like the people that call in one sentence and then I hang up on them because it gets a big pop, I hope they think, oh, that was a good call.
Yeah, they should.
But I don't know if they do because they probably had a crafted phone call to become something. What's up, Zeke?
Did you want to add an automated message when they call? So right when they answer, we have an automatic thing do this, do that, do this.
Well, that's supposed to be Mitt, right? And I think Mitt does that, and that's why Mitt hangs up on people because he's like, excuse me, I'm trying to do this whole thing. But and this is my fault because I'm not a good enough host. I apologize. When I get going and we go to the phones, the how you doing, just completely brings the entire show to a stop.
Walking in mud.
I would like to just keep going. Hey, ba, ba, ba. Boom, good call. Let's go ahead and dive into that.
What about a designated greeting where they call and they offer up a phrase or whatever
How
it may
you doing?
be?
And then we'll say, keep it moving.
Boom.
Bang, right in.
Right into it.
There it is.
That's a good idea.
Good call, Nick.
Thank you.
Hey, you should call in, Nick.
Yeah.
And that's how it will be because that was a good call by Nick right there.
How you doing?
Keep it moving.
Hey, this is Nick from Pittsburgh.
No, because you RB.
Yeah, you get it.
Don't do what Nick just did.
because you'll say,
Hey, Nick from Pittsburgh. How you doing? Keep it moving. Boom, right into it.
Big Ben stinks.
All right, I'm happy we had this meeting here, this conference. It's good. It's good news. This ball is awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Got shipped to us by from somebody. I think we have to sell these at some point.
Have to.
It's like
great tailgate ball.
It's small.
Perfect.
Yeah. Seems durable. It's got weight to it too. You could throw this thing a long way.
Yeah.
And it's fat enough I could kick it and not look like an idiot. This is a perfect tailgate type ball.
It is.
I think it's going to be durable. I think.
Ooh.
There's a snap of the wrist right there. Yeah, no whistle like the whistle tip football. Hey, cover cowboy can't throw a ball. You know what I mean? Take the cowboy hat off, put the helmet on.
We gotta go. I go over the top.
It's nice to just throw a football around.
Better.
I mean, maybe some people should start doing this a little bit more often. Go outside, throw the football around. You know, play kid. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing, Lace? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Hi, look at the hey, hot
potato.
Boom!
Oh, it was coming.
Thought we were doing it.
That was a really good drop. I am very proud of that. That ball probably would have went a long way. Let's have a good one. Enjoy the rest of Crown Jewel. That is taking place right now in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We're back tomorrow with Feel Good Friday, 11 to 2 on YouTube. And then I'm off to Wichita, Kansas, and then we have the greatest weekend in football. You know why? Because it's the next weekend. Let's hit this same game parlay tonight. Let's hit this risk-free same game parlay tonight. Let's have a Thursday night, and let's enjoy tomorrow. We can't thank you all enough. Cheers. See you then.